5, 4.
Gather round, freaks, because the lambs have passed through the gate. They are come to the killing floor. Their blind eyes see nothing of the horrors to come. Their ears are stopped. They are the gods' fools. Cleanse them. Cleanse the world of their ignorance and sin. Bathe them in the crimson of... Wait, am I on speakerphone?
No, I would never do that. No, but I do have this one question for you, Malachi. Hey, did you see this one?
With its covers tightly sealed and nightmares lurking within, the ancient book stirs ominously, whispering of unspeakable horrors and twisted sacrifices that have plagued the brave souls who dared to peek inside. But beware, for one of our sinister hosts has made a ghastly discovery. As the yellow pages were last turned, a malevolent truth unraveled. Pages are missing. Each one leading to a dark realm far more terrifying than the tome itself. A place where madness reigns, monstrous abominations lurk, and mayhem consumes all who venture too deeply. This chilling revelation serves as a stark reminder that monsters manifest in a myriad of forms. And Hey, Did You See This One? Invites you to brave the darkest corners of mind, matter, and mystery in search of the Grimoire of Familiar Killers. Lost Pages.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite internet TV show. It's Hey, Did You See This One? And I am your host, Stephen Bubba Blackfly Waters. I am joined here with my co-host, Jason R. Phillips in the Woods, because This is the show where we discuss, tear apart, and just thoroughly examine all of the best movies ever made. Right, guys? Right?
Every single movie ever in existence, in fact, is what the movies we do are. This is episode 232.
Holy moly. That's a lot of episodes. You guys out there who like us can go back and watch every single one where we say questionable things and sometimes talk about our buttholes. We are today joined by a past guest. How many times have you been on the show now, Graeme?
This is 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, so
3 or 4.
I'll give you the regular applause. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
It's a pleasure. It's always fun. I'm happy to be here, but I'm scared. It's just this movie. Oh boy.
I hope the Harbinger didn't spook you too much for this discussion.
That's the scariest part.
Okay. Very good. I spent all of 5 minutes making that 10 minutes ago. So I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, we're here to talk about a movie that has a special place in my heart. When I first saw this movie, it changed the way that I perceived a specific genre and realized that genres that are already heightened can be heightened even more. You can take a really high concept and then crank it up and make it an even higher concept. And that's something that I find fascinating. The movie that we're discussing today is, of course, Cabin in the Woods, starring a bunch of people whose names I forgot. Directed by Drew Goddard, I think. Is that correct? Drew Goddard?
Yes,
that's right.
And written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard. A very fascinating story about how they wrote this. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Well, you know, the movie came out in 2009. Where is it? 2009? I don't know. 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
I didn't prep for my intro. I was too busy voicing the Harbinger. So
Nice. That's
I hope that
amazing.
everybody likes this movie as much as I do. I think that there are some holes in it now, examining it all these years later, but I do really like it. But before we get into the discussion of the movie, we do have to, of course, synopsize this movie for our movie god. He's probably watching us right now. Usually there's like a thunderstrike to announce it.
Zardoz speaks to you. He demands you synopsize this film. Tell him how, why, who, what occurs in this film.
Okay.
Us, we can do it. So usually we ask the guest to do this, but Graham, if you're not prepared, I can easily take over here. If you,
I think you got this one.
okay. The movie Cabin in the Woods is a send-up, a satire, a spoof. Not really. It's also just a solid movie within the genre that it is. But it is a movie about an organization that is essentially pushing the plot of a horror movie in order to appease a greater force beyond our mortal coil, I suppose. The movie is a bunch of youngsters in some sort of undetermined era of university or college. All the while there is this very normal, mundane office trio slash, I guess there's also the security guy. There's these people working in an office that are watching all of their movements, and they have people in the real world. They have people working at all sorts of departments within this organization in some sort of bunker, guiding their path all the way up until a specific point in which they kind of take a back seat, but affect things here and there in order to ensure that what we would know as the plot of a horror movie successfully accomplishes itself. Within the movie, there's lots of twists and turns, but also just amazing little takes on things and creative ways to tell a story that we've seen 1,000 times before. And it's one of the most interesting things that you can really do with a horror movie. I think we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the story anyway, so I think that we should kind of save that for the discussion. But that's more or less what the story is a regular horror movie, except there are people watching just like we are, only they're affecting the outcome of the story ever so slightly in all sorts of fun and interesting ways. Yeah,
I think that's pretty spot on, I would say.
okay, great. So as you guys all know, we like to give a little brief history of our experience with this movie, the first time that we saw it, or maybe an impactful moment that we in life that this movie kind of like was important to us. So of course we have to play this.
A brief history.
Now
Of
it's
course.
official. Now it's official.
It wouldn't be, hey, did you see this one without an overwrought sting between each segment.
Graham, you've been here before. I'm sure you know what to do. So why don't you take it away and give us a little bit of brief history with your experience with this movie?
Yeah, I watched as many horror movies as your average person growing up, and then in my, early 20s, living in an apartment with a bunch of guys who watched lots and lots of horror movies. But it was, it was something after that time. It wasn't something I really did much. We watched some truly disgusting shit, and I think I kind of burned myself out on horror movies for some time. And so, I had seen the trailer for this movie, and I had uninterested in just because I knew that there was this meta aspect of it, and just straight up horror movies I was kind of done with. So to have something that not only really examines the tropes of horror movies, but does it in a way that's not preachy. It's, you know, a send up to so many classics, and anyway, I torted it. That's it. I torted it. It's illegal. Lock me up. Lock me up.
Lock me up
Sorry.
in a prison.
Sorry, Joss Whedon.
Yeah, put me in.
But anyway, I saw it and watched it several times after, and then I don't think I watched it probably since 2015 until this week. But it was great to revisit. I watched it twice, and terrific.
Well,
notes. End of podcast.
Okay.
That's
Jason,
been our
why
show
don't
for
you-
this week.
Yeah, Jason, why don't you tell us, give us a little insight into your first time watching Cabin in the Woods, would you?
Well, it's pretty much the same as Graham's, actually. For some reason, so I've talked about it 1,000 times. I don't need to bring it up again or like go into it in depth. I wasn't a horror person. Couldn't really handle horror. When this movie came out, though, I was dipping my toe a little bit, probably around the same time that you said, Graham, 2015-ish. And I remember downloading it. And it not being, it's so more focused on the meta elements that the gore is kind of, you know, secondary. So it didn't really bother me that much. And I remember thinking how interesting of a concept it was, but having no real context. So it works as a movie that is not for horror fans, but also now that I am pretty versed in horror and horror tropes and all of the big, you know, familiar killers that we've talked about endlessly on this show, watching it now, I got a whole new appreciation and a whole new
I can only imagine.
experience.
Yeah, like when I first saw this movie, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is a movie for people who love movies, right? Like this is it's like, you know, whenever they film a movie where it's like the movie takes place in Hollywood, or I'm like, all these Hollywood jerk offs are making movies for themselves. Nobody knows what it's like to be a Hollywood producer, but this is one of those things where I'm like, this is a movie for horror fans, but it really does work on its own as a horror movie. Like it's not making fun of the horror genre. It's more of like a love letter and overall, right?
No, and what I'll say is, I was going to say this more later in my final thoughts, but I'll just say it now. If they could either, I don't want them to like remake this, and I don't really want a sequel. I think it stands on its own, and it's like it works on its own. However, if they were to have either had like partnered up in a Ready Player One kind of a way with some studio, or if they were to remake it and it was done properly, having doing this with different actual licensed monsters would have been fun. That said, the person behind you, as soon as I saw the sphere, I was like, that's the Lament configuration. I fully forgot that they meet like a send up of Pinhead, who's like razor blade head, which so maybe it is better that it's all like parodies and similar to other things.
It's cool though, because you're pinpointing the references without the references being there, right? It's not like Ready Player One where you're like, there's Chucky, there's RoboCop,
there's the Battletoads.
This is like, oh, that's meant to represent this. That's it. That's you know, that's just a unicorn.
Yeah, it's all very surprising too. Like just some of the monsters in it. You got your classic Wolfman and Merman, things like that. But then seeing like there's a character from the video game Fear, sort of Silent Hilly girl, not Silent Hilly, but from Fear. There were Left 4 Dead monsters in this.
I watched it with headphones on today, and like the Fear girl, when she's like slowly walking down the hallway, you can really see, you can hear what she's saying to the guy, and it's like, oh man, this movie is great with like putting headphones on and just blasting it. It's so good.
I watched her in the background and nothing really happens, but I was like, something's gonna happen in the background.
She's saying like, she's like, why are you running? Where are you going? Like she's just like slowly taunting him. And if you, during that sequence, I don't want to talk about it too much because we're gonna talk about it later, but like during that sequence, every time the camera pans across all of the monitors, there's a different sound effect that pops in perfectly for what something's happening on the screen. There were different musical stings to happen for different stuff. It's just like the audio in this music is
terrific. Sound design,
so good. Yeah. My first time watching this movie, I saw it in theater, and I was absolutely blown away. I never really, growing up as a kid and teenager, I never considered myself like the horror guy. And then eventually one day I was like, I watch primarily horror movies. I guess I am the horror. And that's what people would start to be like, well, Steve's probably gonna see that. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you like twisted shit. I'm like, what? It's just
You're a
movie.
twisted pervert.
Yeah, I also
freak.
watch
What?
other movies too.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, you're the horror guy. I'm like, oh man. For some reason I was very sort of like, I felt like really abrasive towards that ideal of me being labeled as a horror person, but I'm okay with it. I don't think that I know a ton about it, but I have seen like every Nightmare on Elm Street and Jason and Halloween movie multiple times, and like I've watched everything outside of that sphere, everything inspired by that sphere as well. And this movie to me, I mean, the Evil Dead franchise is probably my favorite franchise internally within like horror, because of all the crazy shit that it has accomplished and done, and the fact that it's often not a straight up horror movie. It kind of plays around with other genres within it. This movie
becomes less of a horror movie as the series goes on,
especially the second one, and then like Army of Darkness is basically just a comedy at that point. Like,
it's an action fantasy comedy. Yeah.
But this movie, obviously, The Cabin in the Woods is just a straight up reference to The Evil Dead, so it already has that vibe that I love, which is seclusion, dusty old cabin, except it has all these elements going on with it that really caught my attention and helped me through it in a way that I didn't think. Because if this was just a movie about them getting killed by some zombie redneck torture family, I think is the actual name, it wouldn't have been good. And I often wonder, because I watched this actually 3 times this week, once sort of skipping through it today just to like look for some funny lines and dialogue and stuff that I was like, that was a funny line. I want to actually write down the exact wording of it. But then I watched it once with the audio commentary on with Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard, and like they're giving so many little crazy insights, but they also talk about the writing process, which is crazy because they wrote it in a weekend in a hotel room. Like they've got like a double hotel suite, like a 2-floor hotel suite, and they just like secluded themselves on the different floors and wrote all together. This is production talk. Sorry, this is my brief history. So I saw it in theaters and I fucking loved it, and then I watched it a million times since. But it has been quite a long time since I've watched it. Since I got it on Blu-ray, I watched the hell out of it, and then it's probably been about like 8 or 9 years since I've seen it. So it's been gathering dust. So I'm happy that we chose this as one, because it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
I might as well.
This was the movie that. Sorry, I just
go ahead.
Along our histories of this. This was the horror movie that made me not like so many other horror movies, because I feel like I can't do straight horror anymore. Right. You know, I've tried watching older horror movies after this, but like even watching this and after it finished, I was like, a horror movie's got to be more than just a horror movie. Like if it's a horror comedy, you know what you could do. Good. It's got to have some sense of awareness, or something that's like the meta world of this one. Yeah.
What you do is you
Halloween
just want
Resurrection is like a similar idea, and it's terrible. Sorry, Steve. I just wanted to get that in there.
I mean, Halloween Resurrection is just a Halloween movie, but everybody has a camera strapped to their belly button or whatever. It's I guess they're it's more of like a prank show or whatever. Anyway, I was just gonna make a dumb joke, so it's not. I was gonna say the best way to do it is to then now every time you watch a movie, just imagine that the organization is the one directing everything that's happening in your brain.
In your head, just cut back to Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford, cracking wise.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Just yelling about tequila being their lady. Okay, so let's just hop right into production talk, because I have a ton that I want to go through, but I think I'm going to maybe just save it for the actual body and just talk about it as we go, because I have too much.
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of shit.
Sound. Speed. Action!
That's right.
Production talk. This is where we just talk about fun facts about the movie and things that we know and things that we like. And if anyone has any questions and others have the answers, that's where we talk about it. The main thing is this movie came out in 2011, of course, directed by Drew Goddard and written by Joss Whedon. But Joss Whedon was also a kind of like, he was on set a lot. He was sort of almost co-directing. But they wrote it together. And one of the made and they directed it sort of together with a budget of $30 million, and it grossed about 70, but obviously that's fine, but not great. But I mean, there's been talk about sequels and stuff forever. The main reason they don't do it, obviously, is because the movie ends pretty definitively. And Drew Goddard is like, I would love to do one, but I don't want to do one that like removes the ending, and I don't want to do one that takes place where the ending didn't affect the world in any way. Yeah. So he just doesn't have like a cool idea. He's like, if a cool idea ever fell in my lap, I would absolutely do it. To me, I've always said like the perfect thing to do would just to make a million prequels to this movie. Like just keep going further and further back, right? Yeah. Like show how this organization has been operating since the beginning of time. Like they even talk about how it's like, it used to be you just threw a virgin into a volcano. The gods don't like that anymore. We have to get fancy with the way we kill people. I
want to shout out. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm trying not to cut you off. I wanted to just, because we're talking about Drew Goddard, I learned that, so there's this kind of theory that the Cabin in the Woods is the Institute in Buffy. Like they're similar, or they're the same, or this is like a branch of that. There's even like a one-off line. They're like, back in 98, the chemical wing had an issue, and that's supposedly a reference to Adam, the character from Buffy. And I was like, that's weird. I guess it's Joss Whedon and all that stuff. But I didn't realize until I looked up Drew Goddard himself, but he wrote a giant chunk of Buffy and Angel from around that era.
Well, yeah, Joss Whedon and him are like best pals. So
yeah, his stuff was a little bit later, which it doesn't really line up for the Institute and Buffy being part of this. But outside of all of that, he also wrote Cloverfield, and he wrote like The Martian, screenplay, and World War Z. Those are books. I know
World War Z.
World War Z. But he also he created the Daredevil TV show, which is amazing to me. And he wrote, he adapted Project Hail Mary, and his latest thing, not so great, High Potential with Caitlin Olsen. It's one of those shows that looks terrible, but I'm learning now that it's based off of I think it's based off a book. So, he's got a crazy body of work, and he wrote a bunch of Lost. He's like so ingrained in pop culture.
Hasn't directed a lot though, which is crazy because this is pretty good. I think this is probably one of those cases where he just maybe doesn't enjoy directing that much and realizes how difficult it is, which, I've worked on sets, I've directed things myself. It's fucking hard and annoying and arduous, and things often don't work out the way you want. And when they were going into this, his whole thing was like, I want to do literally every single thing practical. Like, I don't want to touch CGI at all. And then they realized pretty quickly, like, that's not possible. And he's like, okay, fine. Only when we need to use CGI will we use CGI. And then they got to the point where they were filming in this huge facility set at the end with all the monsters, and they had all these practical things that they had spent a ton of money on, and they all look wonderful and great, but then they realized, like, oh, we have all this space and it looks really barren. Like, it's just this huge open area with like a clown, like, meh! It's like, oh, we need to maybe make a giant snake or something. And so like they added in stuff just to flesh out dirty up the frame. And oh boy, is it dirty. Like, and I don't even hate it. The CGI doesn't really hold up a lot of it, but the practical stuff kind of layered on top of that and being in the foreground is like super appreciative. And like,
I'll say it's 2011, so the CGI holds up for now, still okay. At worst, it looks like a video game cutscene. It's not as bad as 5 years before this, where a lot of the CGI still had that like shininess to it, and it looked like a layer in front of everything. It still meshes pretty well. It's dated, but it wasn't egregious. In the first time you see
there's also CGI, the fact that you can forgive bad CGI if stuff is good. Like if something is good, bad CGI is forgivable.
It doesn't seem out of place in a story like this. Where anything seems possible,
and there are moments where the CGI fucking rules.
Very forgivable.
Yeah, but there's also moments where it's terrible. Like I remember the first moment where I was like, oh God, was like when the RV is all of a sudden going through the tunnel and comes out the other side of the tunnel, and then it's like a cartoon RV. I'm like, ooh boy, good thing that eagle is getting disintegrated, because it's really distracting to see that RV.
It's funny you say that, because I was just about to say the first CGI is that eagle turns from it looks like it turns from a real eagle into a CGI eagle, which happens also with the RV going under.
But the eagle exploding into fire distracts from the bad RV in the background is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I mean, again, like these are things that you can nitpick if you want to, but like just the amount of practical effects that went into this movie, it's crazy. If you have the Blu-ray, I have the Blu-ray here. Bing. And I know, Graeme, you just showed me that you have it as well. I said, show me mine if you show me yours, and then that doesn't.
And we did.
Yeah, we did. But
do you have a top loader NES with River City Ransom in it?
I put that there just for you. I knew you'd notice. Sorry to distract.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, that's all I can see. It's all I can look at.
I went through all the special features last night because they're not all super duper long. But I went through both the CGI stuff and the practical effects stuff, and they're both equally interesting. I'd recommend you watch them if you have the opportunity. Just the amount of stuff that they made. They actually had to rent out a larger workshop space, and it was like a luck of timing where they were able to hire a bunch of additional sculptors and illustrators and makeup artists and get this large space to increase their workshop space by, I think, like 3,000 feet or something, some square feet or something crazy like that. And all these things fell into place perfectly. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do what they did for this movie, and it probably wouldn't have been as good. Also, there was, in general, like the town, that's what they refer to, like all the people that work in Hollywood or whatever. It's like there was like this lull, and this movie came around, and they were able to hire just all of these really talented people to create monsters and makeup and costumes and stuff. And the head designer, that like the special effects head, but he was also like one of the main sculptors and designers and stuff as well. Like he was doing all these things and shipping them out, and then he was like, we blew our budget. They wanted bigger stuff. I didn't know what to do. It's like, oh, well, I guess that's where like the CGI comes in. But then you also have the CGI aspect where this guy's like, no, it was great. They got practical, like even the effect at the end where the hand is coming out of the ground. That's a lot of CGI, but they did a whole bunch of model work with that to make the trees sort of fold in, plow outward, and then fold back in on themselves, so you can get all these like realistic particle effects and stuff. And it looks great. And you realize like, oh, that's why that shot looks less janky than the rest of the movie, even though it's a big digital hand. Like all the stuff around it is real and paired with CGI.
Did they talk about the props in the basement?
Yes.
The cellar, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, because I heard it in passing in some video that they made, one for basically every monster they had.
Yeah, they made one for all the monsters at least all the monsters that they had on screen, because there are lots of little things in the background that, maybe they weren't able to connect it, or like afterwards when they were digitally compositing things in, but they did film every single one of those cubes that you see is essentially like a real thing they filmed, unless it was, a crazy digital creature like the robot with buzzsaw arms or whatever. What up, Smooth Turtles 9164? And
that's my mother's name.
Oh yeah, my mother's maiden name. So yeah, also like the cube elevator prison thing that they had to create like a mathematical algorithm to actually be able to make it so that these things made sense, because they started trying to figure it out, and they're like, we can't just animate this. It's all like bunching up and doesn't make sense. Like, what if we create an actual algorithm to make them move around that makes sense? And then they did, and they were able to composite everything in afterwards. And it's like this weird thing that they spent so much time and effort and money on that like you don't even really see for that long in the movie, but it is arguably one of the coolest moments of the movie. But yeah, they also have all these photo shoot things where they show all how they filmed every single cube, and they had different size cubes. They had a tiny cube, so like the main makeup artist, he just had his head like floating like a genie, and he kind of looks like a genie, like he's a little goatee and like a lot of earrings, and he's bald, and he's like And so like they had all these things. They put a spider in one. It was just like a little tiny cube, and then they had a sort of a mid-sized one. So they just got like a big guy, like a big tall guy to stand in there, and he looks like a giant and stuff. And it's all really cool and interesting. And then there's cubes that are full of wild, weird shit. You're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like one of them is just filled with like riot dogs. You're like at a bunch of German shepherds. You're like, oh, that seems a little not great. And then there's one that just has clan members in it, and you're like, okay, that's nightmarish, but at the same time, like maybe not that. Like, what kind of horror movie? Like, imagine they accidentally summon the clan. There's not a single person. There's not a single person there. That anyway, it's weird, but it's great. And I have like so much that I can talk about, but I'll try and save it for the body as well, because I'll be able to drop little tidbits of information and stuff in there. Does anybody else have anything they would like to speak on?
I just wanted to. It's crazy. So this movie was filmed in 2009, and it didn't come out. It says 2011, but from my notes here, it also says that according to Wikipedia, it hit theaters in 2012. So it must have been like early 2012. It's a 2011 movie. At any rate, this movie was shot when Chris Hemsworth was a relative nobody.
Yeah.
And then Thor came out. So this movie got a bit of a boost because it came out after Thor, which is crazy to think.
The role of Thor while filming this movie.
Yeah.
I think I think I watched the audio commentary. I think they said like the day they were filming the motorcycle sequence where he has to like jump out, like his death sequence, he like got the call like that day and was like, I'm going to be Thor. Like, oh, cool.
I'm pretty sure Joss Whedon had a lot to do with that, right?
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. I like how you did his accent as Thor and not as an Australian man. I'm going
Australian
to be Thor.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was filmed in BC in Canada, here in British Columbia. We're not in British Columbia.
You can tell what time of year it was too, because 90% of the time they're outside, their breath is heavily visible in the air. You're like, oh, it's supposed to be summer break, and they're like, crazy tufts of breath in the air.
And it's a real place called Secret Cove Cottage in BC, which is cool. And you know, it got super delayed, but they ended up putting it out, and it. I don't know. I don't remember. I can't really find any information besides like the actual box office. But was it a hit? Like, did it do well?
I mean,
from like a pop culture. Yeah, that's how I remember it too, right?
I think that it had buzz, particularly around the age group that I was at the time, which was like university age. You know, it was. Yeah, I don't think it did horribly, but it was one of those ones that I think they didn't advertise. It's hard to advertise this movie without spoiling it. That's the
without
issue,
spoiling.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people didn't go see it because they thought it was just going to be a generic slasher movie. They're like, oh, like a Jason? Ugh, I don't want to go see a Friday the 13th. And because they had to advertise it that way, and they had little snippets of weird shit in the trailer, like the eagle hit. I remember the eagle hitting the force field was in the trailer. And I remember being like, what the fuck is this? And like, I was intrigued, but I was like, what am I supposed to expect here? And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And it's one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time.
Meta horror had been done for, 15 or 20 years at this point. And the big draw is the meta horror. At this time, they were just remaking everything gritty. They were remaking all the horror movies in a gritty way, and they all suck. They're all bad. Friday the 13th is okay.
I feel like this was around the era of like this is probably around the era of just like the most disgusting torture porny kind of stuff.
That's what I was gonna say next. Saw was like the big franchise at this time.
There's no fun to be had. It's just
like
horrifying.
Like a couple years before this, Halloween and Halloween 2 had come out, both just stupid, terrible remakes. He missed the mark so completely on those things.
Did you watch them finally?
I watched both of them.
Yeah.
First one's like I like elements of them, like, and we'll talk about this when we get to them, like when we do the remakes month or whatever. But like, this is like such a breath of fresh air after watching those two movies in the same month. you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to because we're going to talk about those movies eventually.
We'll talk about them, yeah.
But it's one of those things where like I fucking love Rob Zombie so much. It's just like I feel like his sensibilities as a filmmaker, I just can't get on board with like almost any of his films, and it's unfortunate because I like him as a person, and I do watch them because I'm like I gotta support Rob. He's my boy, but I fucking hate his movies.
I like his music, like that genre. It's
music,
but his fucking he's got a very distinct style that if he remade this, I could almost imagine what a remake.
I don't even know if it's a
Cabin in the
style
Woods.
so much as it is just like a writing style where it's like
he's almost like David Lynch.
Happened.
It's
maybe 25 years from now we'll
and
realize that like Rob Zombie's a genius.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what he meant when he had the 10th rape sequence in his fucking movie in a row.
There's a bunch like in
God.
Lords of Salem where he just has a bunch of fucking demon priests jacking off. Like, what do you come on.
I got this new chair and it's so hot in here that it's making so much noise when I move.
It's 28 degrees in Toronto, fam. How's Halifax?
Oh, it was about 20 today. I think it was like 26 yesterday. So, yeah.
I don't have a ton more to say about this, other than the stuff that I'm going to bring up during. I think it's really interesting the way they wrote it. They have been like writing buddies for a long time, and they were like, well, let's just lock ourselves in a hotel for a weekend and see if we can come up with something that we can write really quickly. And they wrote the entire script, and a lot of it is the final stuff is just in the movie. Like they didn't have to change a lick of it, which is cool as hell. I know that when they were talking about the cellar sequence with the diary, Joss Whedon, they were writing just different scenes, and like, you take this scene, I'll take that scene, we'll break, and then we'll come meet up afterwards. And then Goddard was like in the upstairs or whatever, and he got to the diary and he's like, I can't write this fucking 1908 bullshit like 1800s language, and he like yelled down the stairs like, hey Joss, can you write the diary? And like before he even finished saying can you write the diary, Joss was like, I already wrote it. He already wrote just all that weird nasty shit, like they put the coals in her belly or whatever. Like all that weird shit. Like apparently that's almost completely untouched and still the same from that weekend, which is it's pretty inspiring, that you can, if you vibe with somebody on a writing level, you could actually just sit down for 2 days and pump out a script that ends up being like super compelling, interesting. And, they both said, or I don't know, Joss Whedon's a little bit of like a kind of he's a prick. He seems like a prick. Pretty sure he's been canceled like 10 times, but they seem like really good friends. But like every time Goddard would talk about stuff, Joss Whedon would almost like sort of bring it down a little bit. Fuck, I had a point that I was trying to make, and then I got distracted by Joss Whedon being a prick in my brain. Oh well,
it's gonna come up eventually.
Yeah, it just seems like they work really well together, and they're able to. Oh no, the point that I was going to say was that Goddard said like, I've been the labeled writer on things that I've worked on for like 2 years, and it hasn't been as good as the stuff that we wrote that weekend. Like this is some of the best writing that I've ever done in the entirety of my career. And it's like, I'm familiar with a lot of his career, not all of it, but I would agree. I think this is like such a creative and interesting and like really just unique way of telling this story that it's almost like lightning struck their brain from a realm that like no one had ever tapped into before in this to this degree. It's so fun. Anyway, I'm gonna stop riding this movie's wiener. I got to think about it critically.
You still got about 3 hours to do that.
That's true. Yeah. Are you guys good to move on to the body of the episode?
I am. The only thing is there was nothing really to say about the soundtrack or the score. It was pretty paint by number score, and I think there were some.
No. I disagree. I think that the score is in certain spots like some of the best shit I've ever heard. Not all of it. I'll agree with you to a certain degree, Jason, where like some of it is just sort of like generic movie horror score. But there are moments where they do such unique things with the score that tells a story outside the story that if you watch it a couple of times, you'll start to hear these musical cues that you didn't notice the first time. particularly in that ending sequence where there's all this crazy shit happening, and every time a new monster comes on screen, it almost has its own unique version of the main theme of the movie playing over top of it. Like the ballerina has that the music box will chime in when she appears, even if it's just on one screen in the background. As soon as she links into the screen, you hear the music box layered into the score itself, and you're like, oh man, that's such a cool thing that whoever composed this is paying attention to all that stuff in the background. The moment where the unicorn kills the guy and like there's this magical score happening, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. So like I would never kind of want to say to that level of like, this is a paint by numbers score, because it's like maybe it is, but like at the same time the person composing was having a lot of fun as well, just like the rest of the movie. That guy went bananas at points as well. So I appreciate that. It's something that movies often don't take the time to do.
Yeah, you were, just as the last thought here, you were saying the sound design on headphones was particularly good. I was listening to it on headphones. I thought that the mix of the version that I had was a little off. Like it got too loud and then quiet. And I guess that's kind of a horror thing. But you were saying that you had picked up on during them showing the different screens, you would hear different elements from the different screens, which I thought was an interesting thing.
You would hear like the strangers or whatever, like when they're burning people, like it's just a tiny little screen and you see the guy throw a match and then the light lights up and you hear like the flame comes through like one ear, and then on the other side you can hear the laughing of the clown. Like there's all these like sound effects happening from different sort of different regions of your headset. It's fucking good, man. It's that's
cool.
I don't like talking about sound design on this podcast all that much because people often don't give a shit and they think that you're like a dweeb and like, oh, this guy cares about sound. And I'm like, yeah, I work in sound. It's like my job is sound. So like when I hear good sound work, it makes me excited and I get really inspired because I'm like, look at what you can do. Look at what you can do, man. If you do a good job, it sounds amazing.
Now is
you
the
can
time.
Close your eyes and you can know what's happening because the sound design's so good. Anyway, anything else you guys want to add to the production talk?
Let's get to that body.
The body.
Episode over here. Ho, everybody back up, because here comes the body of the episode.
Oh, right. It's me. This is the body of the episode. This is the part of the show where we talk about the whole movie. Typically, we kind of walk through the movie step by step, but I think this week I'm going to try and just give us sort of like the generic scene, and then we'll talk about it. And I'll give you some details from the scene, and we can just kind of go through. The opening of this movie is one of the most genius things that I've ever seen in a movie, which is you go into a movie expecting what you expect with the opening of every horror movie to be, which is a cold open, a horror moment, something that like really gets your blood pumping because the movie is going to be scary. Like what's it going to throw at us so that we know what's going to happen in this movie. It completely subverts that entirely to the point that the goal that they had when they were writing the movie was to make people think that they had walked into the wrong movie theater. They wanted people to be like, am I in the right movie? And that was actually one of like the main notes that they got back from production was like, we think that people are going to think they walked into the wrong theater. And they were like, that's what we want them to think. And then when the huge sting happens with the title drop, you get jolted and you're like, oh, I am in the right theater. What the fuck am I watching? And to me, that's successful. I don't think I was tricked when I saw it. I don't think I ever was like, I don't think I'm in the right theater. But I do think that it was jarring to see, these guys with ties and white short-sleeved collared shirts talking about mundane stuff. But if you listen to what they're saying, you start to realize like, oh no, they're talking about something weird. But I think the one guy is talking about how his wife is baby-proofing their home and like adding baby-proof locks everywhere, and they don't even have children yet. Like they're going through.
Yeah. He's going to go buy some power tools to take down his cabinets or something.
Well, that's the last thing he says before. Yeah. But the intro is him being like, she's baby-proofed every cabinet and every drawer. I can't get into the fridge. And it's like, because there's a fertility, they just started fertility treatment, or him and his wife, I suppose. And this is one of those things that you don't realize, like, oh, this is actually really gruesome and dark until you've watched this movie a couple times, where it's like he's talking about stuff that is going to expand his life at home with his family, and he's never going to see the light of day again. This guy dies horribly in this movie, but he's not even thinking that that's an option, because they have such a high success rate, right? And that's,
but he's also like, you know, when you do all this stuff and they're still in fertility, of course no baby's going to come, but of course the irony is that he's not coming home tonight.
Yeah, and the world is going to end.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming home tonight.
You can say, oh, another single mom, but not really.
No, the planet is getting crusted. And you know, they have this walk down a corridor conversation in this weird facility that, you know, looks like it's nighttime, but you realize, oh no, there's like however many stories beneath the earth they are. I don't know, but she comes, or the other scientist comes up. I can't remember what her character's name is. A lot of the characters in this movie, I don't remember their names except Marty. Lynn. Her name is Lynn in this movie.
Yeah, Lynn.
Amy Acker. And she is giving them bad news that every other country has failed, except for Japan. And they're like, well, the Japanese have a 100% clearance rate. And, you know, and it's like, well, you know, what about us? It's like, we only fucked up one time, and it was in 98. So it's been a while since we've had any issues. And that wasn't even our fault. That was Chem's fault. That was chemical department's fault. It was a glitch of some kind. So like the implication is that this happens annually, I suppose. I don't know if that's ever confirmed or said throughout the movie that this is an annual thing, but I just assumed that it was like, this is like Christmas for them, like the Santa's elves or whatever, except for evil, to stop evil from emerging from the center of the earth. But it's such a good way to open a movie. I don't know. What do you guys have to say about this opening sequence?
I mean, I love a curveball.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of trying to trick the audience into thinking that they're in the wrong theater.
Yeah, that's great. I also love that they're just talking and it just Cabin in the Woods. That hard stop on the title. I had actually forgotten that the movie I thought the movie started with the next scene of like just the teens doing like the Friday the 13th thing where they're getting ready to go. So I forgot that. I also forgot that it was these two actors, Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford, who are, you know, amazing character actors. And I think that I just want either like a buddy cop with these two. I guess they're
absolutely.
They're probably 70 now.
Duo.
But they make a great duo. Of course, Richard
Dig him up.
is the dad from Step Brothers and a million other things, and Bradley Whitford is the villain from Billy Madison and also from a million other things.
He feels like, you know, the shitty lawyer in every 90s movie or something.
Yeah, he's also a lawyer.
They also both play in a million dramatic roles, not just Madison County.
Billy Madison County.
Yeah, Billy Madison County.
The Bridges of Billy Madison County.
Yeah. They're in non SNL adjacent movies as well as those two examples.
That's right. Yeah.
Listen, I forgive you. That was all you watched until you were in 2015 or whatever when you will finally watch this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both very talented actors. I think Bradley Whitford is known for his sort of sardonic and sarcastic way of kind of like just being a straight talker and like being just like super sarcastic all the time, but like also everything. His deliveries are usually quite heartfelt and like you feel like it's coming from a place of truth and it's not just him being a dick. Even though it comes off that way. There's some really great moments with him in this movie, but there's also really good stuff with Richard Jenkins in this movie as well, where he's like clearly the elder statesman. He's the old guard. He's been around longer. He's seen a merman. He knows what the cleanup is like for a merman. And yeah, we learn so much about them just through their interactions with each other. A lot of what we learn about them, I assume this is a Joss Whedon thing, is that they're perverts. And so is everybody that works for this fucking organization. I hate it. But at the same time, it's not overly offensive. It's just kind of like inappropriate workplace banter.
It feels a little critiquey when all the guys are standing around watching the screen, but at the same time, knowing what we know about Joss Whedon, it's also kind of like he's a bit of a pervert.
I think it's more of a. I think I would say predator.
Yeah, predator.
Yeah.
They don't get to the.
But I think these dudes have just formed a great team rapport, and it was the teens. It was the early teens. It was a different time.
Yeah.
It was a different time, and also there's nothing really that bad in this movie in terms of what the genre they're inside of. I think if anything, this movie's a little bit more progressive than a lot of movies that were within this genre. Even like the 2010 or 2009 Jason movie is like, it's still doing this shit, and like there's not horrible gay panic or homophobia or whatever. Like this movie, all the friends seem very close with each other. It's obvious that like Chris Hemsworth character, there's like one little tiny sliver, which is in the next scene. We can move on to the next scene if you guys want. But
just before we do that, there's we're talking about the two guys you're introduced to, and they're very professional, have been around, and what's his name? Jenkins? I can't remember his character's name.
His name is
Sitterson.
Sitterson, which is funny because he's like a babysitter.
Yeah, he's experienced and knowledgeable, but in the scene running up to the title, when they're driving on the little, I don't know what you fucking call that thing, but he's wrestling with his coffee.
Yeah,
it's this kind of just endearing thing that I almost imagine like they were shooting this thing and they're just like, well, what can we get him to do? And, give him a coffee cup, but that's like kind of leaky or something like that.
And he's like trying to suck because it's too. I guess it filled too much or something, so it's dripping. So he's trying to like suck down the coffee a little bit. Which is just like a real thing that most people who drink coffee have experienced.
They're just like us.
They're just like us, guys. Only they're trying to stop the apocalypse from happening by appeasing the old gods by sacrificing teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good, and like I think one of the major achievements of this movie is weirdly allowing you perspectives from both sides and kind of rooting for both sides, where like you understand what they're doing eventually. Like it is a little bit vague as it goes, but you understand that there's something greater happening here, and by the end you're like, holy fuck, like this, it does matter like what's happening, and there's a reason that all these people are doing this, and there's maybe a reason that some of them are a little bit sort of numb to what they're doing, but they realize that they have to do it. And you can see both sides, especially as I get older. Because I think when I was a teenager, I was like, what would if someone said like, you have to die right now in order for the rest of the world to live, what would my reaction be? Would I be Marty and be like, geez, I don't know if I want to do that? Or like, I would probably be in that mindset, like, fuck the world then. I'm going to try and run from a giant hand. Anyway. This is stuff we can talk about.
We'll be able to discuss the ending when we get there. Is the Truman character introduced now, or is he introduced in a minute? That's the new guy. Is he introduced in this opening?
He is not introduced yet. No.
Okay.
Only the trio, the younger scientist lady and the two old guard, and then Truman is introduced once the control room is introduced, which is not right. Okay. This is I title this scene character intro bullshit, because this movie is like it's flexing its fucking wiener so hard to try and subvert all expectations of what character tropes are, to be like, she's a pre-med, he's in fucking social sciences, and he's a jock, but he's also smart, and she's used to be obsessed with her. And it's like doing all these things that are like, we're gonna subvert all your expectations, but at the same time they're still doing the same shit. So you're like, okay, I kind of really hate a lot of this stuff, the lead up until like the gas station, I think, is what I really dislike a lot of it. And then I start to get really invested. I remember watching this being like, these characters are all really annoying. And it's very like obvious what they're trying to do to me here, which is to be like, they're all smart. They're all geniuses. They all have scholarships to university. They're not dumb. They're not going to die. They're too smart.
But you're right. It's
anyway.
Very transparent that it's the jock, the smart guy, the nerdy, the stoner.
But the movie, like, it has all these sort of like scientific reasons for those things to happen, which is the clever part, which is why I start to get back on board, right? Where I'm getting lost by these things where I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, movie. You can't trick me. I'm too smart for you, smart movie. But I think it's just because I've seen it 1,000 times before, but I understand its purpose. I know why it's here. We have to get to know the personalities of these characters to understand the decisions that they're going to make. But even within this sequence, like there are some cute little moments that I'm like, I like that. Like I like that she goes to her, what's her name, Jules and Dana. They're talking, and she's trying to get her to like bring a bikini or whatever. Like, yeah, and the other guy's gonna come, and he's fucking. If he's as cute as my boyfriend says, then that means, which is like shows like Hemsworth is not like such an alpha man that he's not able to be like, I don't know if he's hot. Why would you even ask me that? Like he's like, no, he's hot.
My friend's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge hog. You gotta see it.
He's got good pecs, and beautiful blue eyes. He does.
You got a little lost in his eyes there for a moment.
Yeah. It's doing character building without even the characters being in the room yet, right? So I'm like, oh, I like the fact that this guy is able to talk about his friend in a way that is like endearing.
I like that this movie. You could have played this movie as like a comedy horror. You could have just done a straight horror. You could have made it a little bit more gritty, and it would have been fine. But I think that the comedy in this is very like the opposite of Jennifer's Body last week, where Jennifer's Body, the comedy feels like tacked on in a way, like that movie should have been played more serious. And this movie, like the comedy excels in a really unique way that it's not overdone. It's just like some of the situations they're put in are objectively funny. And then the characters inside of the film have a sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Jennifer's Body felt like a comedy, like almost like an animated comedy, but with real people, because everything was so ridiculous and look at the camera funny.
And a lot of it was boner and anal
was
sex.
like, yeah. But this has little things like the stoner character is such a stoner that he's got this coffee cup that like extends into a bong, which I thought was really funny. And
it's a kaleidoscopic coffee mug that transforms into a weed vessel.
All I could think of was when he puts this thing down into coffee cup mode, he just has this thing that ranks of weed everywhere he goes, even though he also like, I thought it was
it's a really dark brew. It's a dark blend.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny that he gets out of his car and makes a whole production of like locking the door, but the window's still open.
Leaving the window down. Yeah.
And then there's the little
baby.
There's the little thing where he's like, where did you get these in their books? And they do the like, I learned from watching you drug thing. I thought that was a funny little thing. And I
I learned from watching you, Dad. Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, but I just wanted to, these things are notable to me because this is the sense of humor of the movie. Those are almost meta in and of themselves. The kaleidoscope coffee mug feels like something out of a scary movie almost like a parody of itself, but in the context
I guess
of the
spent a lot. I guess they spent a lot of money making that thing. That prop, because they had to create this telescope. If they hadn't spent thousands of dollars on it or something like that.
I remember somebody I knew had one in real life.
Oh, okay.
I think they sold them at Spencer's gifts for a moment.
I think it was a thing where they thought that was going to be like a big hot selling item, but I don't think it was in any way connected to the movie. I think they just made it in tandem, being like, well, can we make that? And then someone actually made it and was like, Spencer's gift, you want it? And they're like, yeah, we sold a whole bunch of cabin in the woods thongs or whatever, or dildos or whatever the fuck they said.
Yeah.
There are two things of this whole scene I'm counting when they're interior, exterior. That I didn't know why they were there, but I can see it now. The thing with who's the redheaded girl? Jules? No, Dana. She's got her sketch that she did of her professor that she's apparently been boning. And I didn't know it. And watching the movie again, being like, why is this even here? I'm guessing is sort of some sort of thing to say, like, if you're talking about tropes and you've got the virgin, you could say, oh, well, she's not a virgin.
Yeah.
Or is she?
Yeah. It's there to subvert. No, it's confirmed that they fuck. And like, I think at the end, she even is like, I'm not a virgin. And she's like,
yeah.
You don't actually have to be a virgin. You just have to be like pure of heart or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you're you're relatively a virgin because of your personality type.
Compared to the whore, you're a virgin.
Yeah, she's a perfect final girl fodder is basically what Sigourney Weaver says at the end. You're like, you're great. We needed you for exactly this role.
Also, I feel like labeling like the promiscuous person as the whore and everybody else has sort of like an endearing name or like a nice, like the fool and the athlete and the scholar. Like, and then it's like, and then the whore and the virgin. You're like, what the hell? Why is the whore so harsh? Like, it's such a
we got to keep it biblical here.
Yeah, I guess so.
The other thing with too, the who becomes the brain, I guess, is what's his character's name? Jesse Williams, the guy.
Holden.
Holden. He's outside the window. Chris Hemsworth throws in the ball and says, oh, he just moved here. He came from state. He's really good with his hands.
Yeah,
I thought was almost like a setup to be if somebody's trying to analyze the movie earlier, be like, okay, so you've got this unknown, this wild card. And if you want to start suspecting people in a movie, you could, point to like, oh, he's not actually one of the groupies.
he could be one of the
new. He could be the inside man.
That's true. Yeah, I never considered that actually. That would have been kind of interesting if they like, they fucked up enough times that like we got to have an inside man.
There was a one. Sorry, Graham. I was looking at Jesse Williams, but are you talking about when they like? He's like, you don't even have a cousin. I didn't even think he had a cousin or a brother or whatever.
No,
because there's a one-off line later that alludes to something being up.
Maybe
the cabin itself. Like I don't even remember him.
That's what it is, Jason.
Yeah,
that is what it is. They are staying.
The cabin is the inside man.
Yeah, the cousin is
cabin is the inside man.
Yeah, yeah. That's just the plot. And then at the that's just the plot of the movie.
The only reason I thought of that is because it would be cool if Holden was. I liked the Holden character, and I forgot what his thing was because he even like they play him up as the jock, and at the end I looked away for a second while she was like the whore, the scholar, the athlete, and I missed the scholar, so I had to rewind and be like, did they just have two athletes? That's the thing.
Well, no, yeah, I mean we'll get to it, but there is a scene where he puts on glasses and you're like, oh, where did that come from?
Don't you know glasses equals scholar? But also, it's one of those things where the movie itself is also trying to tell you over and over again that like these tropes that exist, and they literally exist in a ritual chamber at the end of the movie. These are the things we need to sacrifice, are not actually that. They're forcing them into those to make the gods happy, right? Like they poison her hair dye to make her fucking stupid, so she becomes a dumb blonde because the gods like it better when the blonde is dumb. So like all these things that are happening are being sort of like edged in one direction in order to appease the performance and for the gods to enjoy.
I even wrote all the archetypes are here, forgetting what the thing at the end was. Because
all the archetypes.
The movie,
you didn't even
they're all here.
Pictures. You drew the pictures from the carving.
Yeah, I drew
these beautiful pictures that came out of my head.
Yeah.
I think this scene is fine. It's making me like it's so. And it's on purpose. This is the thing that I can't get out of my dumb brain about it, where I'm like, I hate this so much because it's doing all the things I hate that horror movies do, but they're doing it on purpose to be like, no, like we're doing it so that you get it, right? I'm like, I get it, but fuck off. I hate this. This is the shit I hate about movies like this.
Yeah, I remember rubbing up. Actually, like it was Marty the first time I watched the movie, where that's like if you don't get the trope thing yet, then you get it there because he's just like even by 2011 you've seen your share of stereotypical stoners and
rolls up playing
all sorts of movies
up, and he's got weed smoke pouring out of his car, and but then he has like he constantly is like spouting philosophical conspiratorial nonsense a lot of the time, but the more you watch the movie, actually not even the more, like I think just the older we get now and the way that time has progressed and society is crumbling around us, we realize like, oh no, he's right. He's right. Maybe society does need to fall apart.
He is the one that keeps saying like he's not almost an audience insert character because he's immune to the pheromones and the gases because of the weed, so he's always able to sort of give that extra insight. During this sequence, he talks about how everything's categorized, which they're also kind of showing with all these archetypes and tropes. And then later he's like, "Oh, we're being puppeteered," and Dana's like, "What?" He's like, he doesn't elaborate on it till much later.
But I think that the weed is affecting him. It's just that those moments are like moments of clarity where he's smokes so much weed, the treated weed that they've given him, he's able to like pierce through it every once in a while because he's so high all the time that like even the super weed they gave him, he's like, wait a minute, what the heck? But like even the stuff that he says when he pulls up, he's like, statistically, as you know, the person with a giant bong in his car isn't going to be pulled over by the police because the police fear this man. Like he's saying things that are just like that don't make sense, right?
Yeah.
But then he gets into the RV and he starts to spit actual facts, being like, you know, we're getting away from it all, like where things can't track us and see us, like we've got chips in our heads, and like he's just saying a bunch of again what would be considered conspiratorial nonsense back then, or just like high guy stuff, things that like your pot smoking friend will say to you to try and spur some sort of deep thought conversation where you're like, shut the fuck up, dude. Let's just watch Rick and Morty in peace. But turns out that he's hit that train of thought. But also, this is the thing that I was meant to say, is that he is labeled as the fool, but he is actually like the wise man. Like he's wiser than the rest of them 100%. Like everything that he says is pushing him into the direction of understanding what's going on. He's smarter than maybe everybody there because he's recognizing everything. Is it because of the weed? Maybe, but also I think it's because he's actually not a fool at all. So every single one of them, because like the whore is not a whore. She just wants to have sex with her boyfriend. Even
her
like
actual boyfriend.
Yeah, it's not like she's having sex with everybody in the cabin. But
she does act a little horny, like when they're chilling at the place.
Yeah, I mean,
she, like,
I understand that
because of those hair drugs.
It's the hair drugs that's doing that.
It's the hair drugs.
And also, she goes up and says, like, me and Marty were sweeties in first year university. And he's like, we only made out. And she's like, yeah. And so it's like, she's not. Like, if we wanted to determine that she is, in fact, a whore in that sequence, they would say, yeah, we did do it a couple times. You know, we would establish that she is maybe a little bit promiscuous. But no, she just made out with somebody. That's not whore behavior. That's just cute people kissing each other.
Yeah, you know? In like middle school.
Well, they were in first year university, which makes it even more like innocent.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I thought they were implying.
She was just fitting. She was just fitting enough of the group to play the role of whore.
Yeah.
For their purposes, and then with the amplification.
I think that kind of stuff, though, like it reasserts that like these archetypes that they're being placed into are being forced by the organization, right? Like they are not actually these things. They are just being placed there because they fit it to a certain degree, and they're just like shoving Play-Doh into a mold, being like, now we've got it. We've dyed her hair with toxins that will make her stupid and horny. Anyway, we get the RV sequence, which is again Marty just spitting facts, and you know, at the cap of that scene is him saying like, you will learn to see things my way. And, you know, at the end of the movie, we pretty much do learn to see things his way because he was right the whole time. This is where we get the control room scene. Oh, also before they leave, before that RV scene, it pans up to the roof and there's a guy being like, the eagle has left the nest.
Yeah,
really?
On our way. That. So we you know, it's set up very early on in the movie that they've been watching them before they left, before they arrived, maybe for weeks pre. You know, she got her hair dyed potentially that day. I don't know. Like, who knows? But everything that's happening in this movie has been, you know, they've been preparing for this for a year, right? They had to somehow get this guy to be convinced that he had a cousin that has a cabin in the woods. Like, you know, he has they've been working on this for a while.
This movie is so
I imagine him just getting a phone call from somebody who was like, hey, it's me, your cousin.
It's me, cousin Dino. You want to stay in my cabin in the woods over here?
That's so interesting. I now remember seeing, I have it over here on the screen, and I remember seeing him on the roof and then forgetting about it immediately. This movie is very interesting because so many ideas are presented that you need to watch this movie a whole bunch of times to really get the scope. Just because of the way your brain like interprets movies, I think.
Are you sure you weren't just on your phone and you missed the guy?
No, I was watching the movie 100% watching it. Yeah.
Sometimes when you start thinking about something in a scene, you miss a thing because you're thinking too hard about something.
That
happens to me often. But this part stood out to me even the first time I watched it because I was like, oh, they're watching them. Sick. I was like so excited that this man is like pretending to be, I don't know, like a a satellite man or something like I'm installing satellite TV on the radio. So this is where we get the control room reveal, where the two main they're not scientists, they're like technicians, I guess, or overseers or directors or whatever.
Overseers is probably a good term.
Yeah, but there's weird racial connotations to the word overseer that I don't like. Let's say director. I think that also has fucking racial overtones. I think all words do. Actually.
Everything has racial overtones if you want to dig deep enough.
So yeah, they're overseeing this project and they're watching. They get let into the control room. We get our first look at this sort of James Bond villain-esque lair that they have with a million screens. They are turning on the screen. This is where we get introduced to Truman. I guess he's like head of security. You would assume. I don't know for sure what his position is. It seems like this is his first time doing this because he has a lot of questions and he seems pretty shocked by everything that they're doing. But he is the main security man in that room with them, and he is basically joining in everything that happens from this point forward. He is our audience insert, I think, for this end of the story, because he's there to ask the questions, to get the expository dialogue out of the other characters. They need to explain things to him so that we understand it. And I think that his like genuine sort of like disgust with the entire situation is pretty palpable throughout the movie. Because it is horrifying. Like everything that he's seeing, he's like, especially like the inhumane parts of it where they're like betting and stuff. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I am not betting on who dies first. But yeah, it's a pretty little, it's a little short little snip, but it's setting things up. It's moving some pawns and pieces around for us to be like, what is going to happen in this freaking flick? But it leads into the gas station sequence, which
great scene.
Is maybe one of the best scenes in the movie. Do you
I
have
love this Harbinger.
Yeah, the Harbinger is great. Do you guys have anything to say about the control room sequence before we move into the gas station?
Just that I thought that this character Truman was going to be more of a hero. Like I thought that the whole point was him being introduced to this, and his character arc is that he like thinks all of this is crazy and what is any of this? But then the subversion of his character arc is that he just fucking gets eaten at like towards the end. Like he helps out a little bit, but
he doesn't even get eaten. He gets stabbed to death by a bunch of scarecrows and then blows up a grenade on his belt.
And then he does end up helping. But it's funny how I thought he was going to be the final man thing. But no, or at least meet up with the heroes.
Yeah, he doesn't have a great death, that's for sure. But he knew what he signed up for. Actually, I guess he didn't, because he's asking a lot of questions. The job probably pays a lot, because this is an organization that has to have government ties, has to have global government ties, and like this sort of thing is like the cabal, the Illuminati level knowledge, where it's like, no, yeah, gods exist. They live inside the earth, and every year we have to sacrifice at least 4 people to the gods in a very particular fashion, and all
he had to sign a real airtight NDA for this one.
And all cultures that have been blessed with societal life on this planet have to take place in this ritual. Only one of them needs to succeed, but we all have to try. And if all of us fail, the gods will rise from the earth and destroy all of us and eliminate humanity from the planet to start anew. And even with all the technology they have, they still fuck it up. They got too complacent, man. They pulled that tequila out too early. So the gas station is great, because this is a sequence that exists in at least the first 3 Friday the 13th movies. The crazy old man at the edge of town that warns you or gives you very vague information, and like this is a little bit less than because the Jason movies, it's like a guy being like, don't go down a crystal lake, you'll get your guts torn out, or whatever.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the character feels like you don't want to go down that road, but he's very combative. Also, when they pull up, he's got a Confederate flag in his window, which was the first. I'd never noticed that before, and I was like, oh no. And this whole place is like decrepit and run down, and they make a bunch of jokes about how these like gas tanks like don't take credit cards or whatever. It's like I'm pretty sure these don't even.
The joke is actually pretty good. It's like, I don't think this will take a credit card. Or sorry, he says, I don't think this will take a credit card. And then the other guy goes like, I don't think these have heard about money. I think this is harder gas. Yeah.
And I love that. I love that that the stoner guy is like chirping the old man racist.
Yeah, usually
the
that
whole
guy
time.
would be the cowardly character or whatever, but he's giving him a
very
rough-
outspoken.
Yeah. He also is later in the phone call. I studied the phone call very thoroughly because I had to record myself as the harbinger before the episode. But he says like the fool almost derailed the entire operation because he was like pushing to be like, this is kind of fucked up, guys. We should get the fuck out of here. So he even knew the fool. He was like foreshadowing the fool being less of a fool than they think that he is or labeled him as. But yeah,
like they subverted the final girl trope with having two final people, and really he's the hero. Imagine if he just like they listened to him and they just turned around and went back, fucking credits, and that's the movie.
I would listen to this guy.
Yeah,
A man who handles his tobacco like that. He's seen some shit.
Oh yeah,
I love this line too, where he says something like, "I've been here since before the war," and she says, "Which war? Like, you know which goddamn war?"
Yeah. And then Marty's like, would that be the one that people were dressed in blue and grayish uniforms, brother versus brother?
Yeah.
You sends me boy.
Yeah.
Confederate flag. That's. I'm just
there you go.
realizing now that he immediately saw it. It wasn't framed very well because it's at the top of the building, but as they pull in, I was immediately like, ugh.
He calls her a whore in the scene as well.
He does call her a whore, yeah.
I think though, Jason, this is also part of it, right? Like they put that up there to be like, go away. Like that's the whole point. They even explain this later. Richard Jenkins Sitterson, he says, the harbinger is part of it. Like we put him there. He's a man practically wearing a sign that says you will die. It's all part of their choice. They have to choose to ignore him and go into the danger in order for this. This is all part of the ritual, right? Like him being there it's not just there to be spooky, and he's not there to relay information. He is part of this ritual, and like clearly like a pretty big part of it because he believes in the old gods like so heavily, where like their blood will quench the thirst of the old ones. So it's I assume that the Confederate flag is not a part of his personal belief system because he believes in the old gods, right? Like that's probably just up there to add to the old gods entertainment of being like, this guy even had this flag that represents hatred and division, and they still ignored it, and they still went in there knowing that this fucking weirdo could come chop them up in the middle of the night, which is really cool. It's like it's also really gross that he keeps spitting. Like I hate spit. I hate spit so much.
I love it.
He
is a nasty man
that he has in his mouth. He's like actively chewing it the whole time, and when he spits it, the color is like.
He also has like a stain
rust
down one side of his mouth where it's like clearly he's just been spitting and chewing for hours and hours and hours and days. And one of his eyes
so
is all
much
fucked up.
too.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean it's a good scene. It's a great scene. It sets a tone. It's on par with like a spooky sequence in any horror movie. But the fact that it's played off later is like in such an upbeat and funny way it's so great. Like they take this weird character and they use it for a joke, and the joke really lands for me. Like, we did do Jennifer's Body last week, and one of my main problems with that was that a lot of the humor didn't land for me in the appropriate fashion. I was like, I don't know if this is just an age thing or if this is that I haven't seen it in a long time, but in this movie a lot of the humor still buckles. Like it makes me chuckle. It chuckles me till I buckle.
Chuckles my buckles.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. That's a good. I laughed out loud at this movie quite a bit, and I hope like the whole point of this month is laugh or die. And you know what? This month, laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Last month, die, or last week, die. Next week, who knows? Tucker and Dale versus Evil, probably funny, probably holds up. We'll see. Actually, next week is Slither. I've never seen it. Who knows?
Ooh, me neither.
Slither's good. Okay, so they leave the gas station.
Is that wait? Stop everything.
Oh,
Is that about snakes? Is Slither about snakes or is it about slugs? What's the
The
thing?
It's like leeches, isn't it? Okay, don't spoil it for me.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Graham, you watch the movie and come into the chat.
I'm gonna say you're not wrong.
I'll bomb next episode.
I'm gonna say you're not wrong about slugs or leeches. Let's just leave it at that, though.
Okay.
And then they get to the cabin.
Then they get to the cabin from literally Evil Dead. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot
And they say,
that it
"Oh,
was
it's
literally-
beautiful."
Yeah.
My only note is cabin intro. It's the Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah.
And that my
With
next
the
note is
literal,
the
like-
mirror part.
It like when the thing opens later, I was like, that's also from Evil Dead when the basement flap.
Yeah,
opens.
Yep.
It's like I wanted to yell. Haven't any of these guys seen Evil Dead? Can't they just say like, "This is Evil Dead"? What is going on, guys? Like,
yeah, we have to leave.
Can anyone make the call, being like, no? If
Well,
anybody,
it's the
starts
great part
yelling
about
Dead before
movies
dawn-
because in movies they just haven't seen many movies.
yeah,
No
Or in
character in
the
a movie has ever seen a movie.
or in The Walking Dead, no one has ever heard of a zombie ever
Yeah.
in any community. They call them everything but.
They're squeakers.
Yeah. A couple of shamblers came in and took my shin bones.
They're walk slappers. I have a thing where I have
Cloud
a theory
hoppers.
that professional wrestling
Rude young
wrestlers-
men.
wrestlers have never seen wrestling. So I like your critique that in horror movies, horror people have never seen movies in general. The reason I say that about wrestling is because like how
I like the
If-
idea
if
that
you-
I'm like a fancy British man would be like, "Oh, a couple of rude young men tried to bite me on the way here."
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
in wrestling, I think it's a funny trope that like if you're in the ring cutting a promo and you're talking shit and you're telling like I'm gonna beat you this weekend, we're gonna go the distance, and then the wrestler you're yelling at, even though you're looking at a giant screen because there's a giant it's called the Titantron. You're looking at somebody can attack you from behind, and if you become a wrestler, wouldn't you know that you're constantly going to get attacked from behind anyway? So it's funny that you say that horror movie victims have never seen horror movies because they fall for everything all the time.
man,
But
I've
in
been
this-
in a lot of horror movie scenarios, and I am the guy that goes in because I don't give a shit because I'm like, it's not real, guys. None of that shit is real. Like horror movie,
And
like
that's what
unless
this movie is trying to do.
Unless I'm in a situation where there's a psychotic man in a room and that's a real possibility, I am not scared of a ghost. I'm not.
No.
I'm not scared of a demon. No,
Never.
not happening.
What if
will
they
go
pump
for-
pheromones in that make you stupid?
Yeah, but in this movie, all of the monsters exist. In reality,
And
they
that's
don't.
true.
So, like, I'm not scared of a werewolf because werewolves aren't real. But so that means if I was ever in an actual horror movie situation, I would probably die, and I would probably be one of these people that gets fucking murdered by a demon in the basement. But in my defense, I don't think demons are real, so I wouldn't be scared of one. I'd be scared of a man down there, a crazy man with a knife. That's happened to me multiple times in real life.
Multiple.
It has. Okay, so the cabin is introduced. It's the cabin from Evil Dead. If I was a character, I would be killed. That's what we've established here.
Credits. That's our
yeah.
show for this week.
Okay, all right.
Wolfman, you're not real. Get out of my face.
Yeah, I'm not scared of you, Wolf Man. I'm from
If I
Wolf
say
World.
Wolfman 3 times in the mirror,
I'm not scared
You'll
of you,
go back.
electric ghost from a pirate ship.
Today I was writing werewolf down, and I actually accidentally wrote werewolld, and I was like, "Whoa, I wonder if werewolf
no.
is a good thing."
I want to watch that movie.
Like a whole world of were people.
I want to read that comic book.
Yeah.
no, I was picturing a bunch of people who just didn't know where they were. Where are
Werewolf.
we?
Werewolf.
It's
What is that?
Waterworld. It's Waterworld, but everybody's really confused about
Yeah.
where they are, where they're going.
Where world does exist.
It's a were animal theme park. You got your
Yeah,
werewolves,
Wereworld,
you
yeah.
were cows.
Where cows, yeah. I mean, in D&D, where everything exists. There's where rats, like you can get bit by a rat and then turn into a big rat humanoid. It's pretty crazy and good. I've
Do
had
you
a
want
few
to address this viewer? I believe this is one of our guests from next week.
multiple. At some point, you have to wonder if it's just you, Steve. Yeah, that's true. I can tell you guys about them if you want. The first one was when I was a teenager. And I was at a house party and somebody chopped
Buckle
up
in. I'm going to tell you all about my multiple stabbings.
The first time I was at a house party when I was a teenager and somebody chopped up a watermelon, and then a guy came at me with a knife because he thought I chopped up the watermelon and it was his house, and he tried to stab me, and then someone took the knife away from him. It was scary. The second time was only a couple of years ago. I was at a New Year's Eve party, and I went out and I was waiting for an Uber, and I was waiting by this big hedge row or whatever near like a railroad track, and a man came out of the bushes and he said, "You're not supposed to be here." And I was like, "Whoa, man, I mean, I'm just waiting for a car, I'll be gone soon." And he's like, "You don't get it, you're not supposed to be here." And he reached into his jacket and pulled out what I thought was a piece of bark from a tree, like he had ripped bark off a tree, and he was threatening me with it. And I was like, "What?" And then I looked, and it was actually just a butcher knife from a big butcher knife covered in rust. And I was like, I don't want to get stabbed with that. That'll be like a stab wound plus probably like a million other horrible things. So I punched him in the face as hard as I could, and I ran across into traffic, and I tried to get cars to stop, and they wouldn't stop. And I saw him getting up, so I ran down a random road, and I went into a person's little side alley in between two buildings. I live in Toronto, so there's lots of thin alleys between houses, and I hid behind garbage cans, and I turned the brightness all the way down on my phone because my Uber was still coming, and I poked up, and I saw him like run by, and I was like, oh my god. And then I saw the car like moving around, like looking for me, like the car arrived, and then I ran to where the dot was, and I was like, I'm here, and I got it, and I was like, drive, lock your doors, there's a man with a knife, he's trying to kill me. And then I called the cops, and I went home, and then I said, Happy New Year, as he drove me to my home.
Well, how about this question?
I'm starting to play League of Legends. Any tips for me? Yeah. Don't use a piece of bark to stab somebody. It's probably, or maybe do. It's probably extra damage.
Well, use it to jungle. That would be the best thing. That's just the term I know from MOBAs. So, jungle. Have we watched the Night Watch trilogy? We have not.
I have, but not on this podcast.
Not on this podcast. Okay. Individually, we may or may not have
sorry. I ran off track there with my knife story. I said
Elder Abbott says that's a literal horror movie scenario. So yes,
yeah,
you lived a horror that night. I remember you telling me about it the next day, and me being like, "What the fuck is your life?"
Yeah, I've also been punched in the face randomly a couple times, just out of nowhere. There was one time where I almost.
Where are you hanging out?
One time I was walking to the movies to meet Jason and his wife. I'm walking down a main road, and just a person who lives in their own crazy world was on the street, and I was walking, and he was like like on the sidewalk, and then he like swiped, like clawed at my face, and I was like, ugh! And I was like, don't make eye contact. If you make eye contact, he becomes corporeal and he will fight you. And then I just started walking fast, and he didn't come after me. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I have like an energy, like dogs and toddlers like people with like a certain radiating energy. Like I'm one of those people. Like if I go somewhere, a dog will come up to me and I pet it, and I'm like, oh, good boy. Or like a child will come up and be like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, it's a baby likes me. But also crazy people try and stab me and punch me in the face. So like I also have some other radiating energy that draws that to me.
Yeah, my version of that is cats like me.
Cats like me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the mentally ill don't. Or maybe they're demons, and because I don't believe in them, they're trying to make me believe.
Maybe you're maybe you're the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's also why it got canceled. The new Buffy got canceled because it's really Stephen Waters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Stevie the Vampire.
I would be a good Niles, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Buffy, I found a new book, and it details exactly why all the homeless people in your city are trying to swipe at you like that.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Anthony Head, he passed away this week. That was a tough one for me. I love him a lot. So sad. But, his body of work is great. Let's get back to the body of the episode. So in this cabin, there is a mirror, a weird mirror. Holden goes into his room, and he sees a painting of what is basically like a hunt that looks extra gruesome. It's like a bunch of dogs ripping apart like a weird, it looks like a goat, but like it's a huge mystical goat or something. And I'm not sure if that's a real painting or if it's a reference to something. I'm sure it is. Joss Whedon seems to be like a pretentious prick. Sometimes he'll add that kind of stuff in and be like, no, we should use this specific painting because it represents this.
The painting reminded me of something out of like an Ari Aster movie. Like it out of like, you know, in Midsummer they find that painting and then they're like, that's weird. Hope we're not getting drugged on psilocybin this whole time. That's what that reminded me of specifically.
Yeah, it seems like it's trying to be a little too heady. You know, I'm like, this movie is like so meta that putting something like this in here is like, this is clever because it's the organization that's putting it in there to like try and frighten you even beyond what you're already meant to be scared of, right? Which I like that. But if it's like real people doing it, then it's like, shut up. I like it when it's a bunch of nerds being like, it'd be great if we put the hunt photo in there. That'd be fucking wild. But he takes the photo or the painting down because it's too disturbing. And then when he looks back up, he realizes there's a two-way mirror connecting his room and Dana's room. And at first he's like, oh, this is not great. And he's testing it, being like, oh, she can't see me. And then he has like this sort of like longing look between him and not her because she can't see him. But he's clearly interested. But she starts to take her shirt off and he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
He is a real gentleman.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of this this mirror? Is it so it could recreate something from a classic 80s horror movie where it was a perv situation, or is the two-way mirror, does that have something to do with the Institute?
I believe that this is placed into this cabin in order to get all of them in that continuous mindset of we should leave, but we choose to stay. Because this is a creepy thing that you'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why does it, this is like a more or less like a modern technology in this old ass cabin. And they're like, now they're having to grapple with the fact that like, there's somebody who was like cucking maybe, like, what the fuck is this, a cuck mirror? Like, what is happening here? And then you have Marty come in and he's like, well, it was the pioneer times. They had to make their own interrogation rooms, you know, which is just a joke. But at the same time, it's like, he's saying like, why would they have, like, the pioneers wouldn't be able to make this? Why does this exist here? That's strange, especially hidden behind a horrifying painting of a bunch of dogs tearing open an animal that they've hunted.
Well, how about this, Steve? How about this?
Theories.
I like your theory.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's what I feel about all of it. Like, this is meticulously designed, right? Like, even the idea of, like, this is clearly, like, they've written this as the Buckley house, which is coincidentally the ones that get raised are the Buckleys.
Buckner.
Oh, sorry, Buckner. Yeah, but is this actually the Buckner house? This story, the Buckner story, could be raised from anywhere in all of the United States, and they've just designed this cabin.
That too, but also like when they talk about, like, when they go into the basement, there's a bunch of different mystical things that could have raised. Like the one guy, he wants mermaids, and there's an irony. We'll talk about that later. But Hadley wants like mermaids, and they're taking bets. You know, we're gonna get to that in a second. But they're taking bets. So what if it was like killer clowns descend on this place? Where does the Buckner storyline play into that?
It doesn't. It's a clown now attacking you in a cabin. So like, you're just in a cabin being attacked by a clown. There's no lore in the cabin itself unless you make it. So when they go down into that room in the basement later, she's like, this is the kill room that she was talking about. But like, if you don't have that context of the diary, then you're just in a kill room. And you're like, this has got to be the clown's kill room. This is where he kills. This is where the clown kills people, right? Like, so like, it doesn't matter. Anything that comes out can be attached to that in some way. And if you can't attach it to that, then you're just going to be like, why the fuck is this room here, right? Like, the context only matters when you're pulling out a specific monster to fight, right? But
they do mention that the harbinger at the gas station does call the cabin the Buckner place, right?
He does, yeah.
It is quite coincidence that that's what she. Once they go into
This
the
is where
basement,
you
that's
can
what
you can
she
start
ends up getting into.
you can start poking holes. This is a thing that I've thought about as well, like many times watching this, where you can start poking holes, being like, was this the Buckner place for real? In their giant vault of things, maybe the Buckners are the only ones that are named, right? Like there's like all these other things, like the Hellraiser guy, all this other stuff, the unicorn, whatever. The Buckners may be the only ones that actually have a name that are attached to them. So it's like, well, then we'll just call it the Buckner place. And then they get there and it doesn't matter, right? Like, what is the necklace that she puts on? What does that summon? Like a genie or some shit to strangle you or give you a monkey's paw wish? And, you know, there's so many different options that could appear that are going to result in a different type of horrific event. There's a lake right there, you know, like they go in the lake. There would be a nude swimming sequence where a merman comes and eats you, you know, like
I would have loved to see that Sawblade had come up with the disdain arrangement, and it's a sphere and it clicks
the
into
disdain
place.
arrangements. That sounds like an Agatha Christie novel or something.
The disdain arrangement. That's a shirt.
I like how when they switch the other side of the everybody discovers the two-way mirror, and then Holden just starts getting undressed behind it anyway when he knows she's watching from the other side.
My main note after that is he's still a creep. He says weird, gruesome shit about blood and stuff, like, and then she leaves. And as soon as he hears her door close when she goes back in the room, he starts taking his clothes off. And, you know, like, it doesn't even look at the mirror. He's just like, I'm going to give her a free show. If that was the case and I switched rooms with somebody, I would immediately be like, I'm going to go get changed. So could you maybe put the painting back or like cover it up or just leave the room for like 15 minutes while I, you know, change into something? But no, he just gets in there and he's like, wiener show. That's like flashing somebody. You know that they can see through there. What the fuck are you doing?
But then she like is like watching it and she's like, okay, I gotta put the painting up.
That's to show that she's a virgin. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think that Graham's point is right. It's like he is still a creep. Like he keeps, you know, the movie keeps being like, he's not a creep though. He's not. But
I didn't say it was creep. I was just saying he was willingly showing off.
Yeah, a creep. He almost pulled his dick out. That's flashing in where I'm from.
Where are you from?
Toronto.
They're college students.
Where you
Come
get punched
on.
and stabbed all the time. Yeah.
And in the next scene in the control room, they're talking about raising the pheromones or something like that to increase their libido.
Yeah, I also like that because the two of them switched rooms, it immediately causes a switch of plan where they're like, now this person's in that room, that person's in this room, which, like, you know, internally my brain is being like, oh, they probably had different things planned for each room to fuck with each person, right? Like they probably have all these different little things to mess with people, which you see that they do have a bunch throughout, but very few are catered in the way that I would have liked to have seen. Like, as soon as my brain starts going in that direction, I'm like, oh, think of all the possibilities. And I'm sure they had a ton that they probably just pulled out because they're like, yeah, it's not working. Like, it's too much time sink into this one thing. But like the hair dye is really smart and the weed is really funny. And like, but tiny things like when she's holding the knife and he's like, fuck. And he just like flips a little switch and it like electroshocks her hand ever so lightly that she like drops the knife, like just, and she drops the knife on the ground. I'm like, that's such a fun, good, because like in every fucking horror movie, when someone drops the knife, they're like, why'd you drop the fucking knife? What the fuck? Like, keep the knife. But like, it shows them shocking her hand with just a tiny bit of electricity to make her drop it, but not like freak out and be like, ow, my hand. Like, it makes it feel like it's a natural move. And like, that's so smart and good. But there is like, this was my next point, was like the slow drip of information and like how they're affecting them within the cabin, but also giving us that slow drip of information on what is actually going on, right? In terms of like the sacrifices and what they're sacrificing them for. And that's where we get this is where the Malachi conversation happens, right? Like the phone call, like, hey, there's a phone call on line 1 for you here. the Harbinger's calling, and he's like, "Oh God, I don't want to talk to him. Can you just take a message?" And he's like, he seems pretty serious. Like maybe it's like, all right, put him through, and he puts him on.
Mordecai, baby, what's happening?
Yeah, and he gives him like the opening there, and that I did at the beginning of the episode. If you're tuning in just now, go back and check it out.
Hadley comes over to the phone, so like dejected too. He's like, ugh.
He probably has to talk to this guy every
guy.
year. Yeah.
And it's the guy from the gas station, and he's just like he's talking the same way that he talks at the gas station. And these two, Sitterson and Hadley, talk very normally. Like they're very like, for being like, you know, they work in an office situation more than them being in like an institute that is a control room. They're so unfazed by any of this. Yeah. And then the Harbinger is so
the kids these days would call them so unserious.
Yeah, very unserious.
But it's good, and like it's also great that he's going into this like this sort of like, they are come to the killing floor, the sheep to the slaughter, they are blind and their ears are deaf, and like he's saying all this stuff that sounds like it's pulled out of some sort of biblical text or you know, reading from the wall of a cave or some shit. And then he realizes like, wait, am I on speakerphone? And they're like, oh shit, yeah, you are. Hold on, let me just okay, yeah, you're good. And then he goes back into it, and he's doubling down and making it sound even more spooky and scary and important. And then once again, he's like, they all start laughing, right? Like they start like chortling through their noses and stuff. And he's like, wait, I'm still on speaker. He's like, and then he even says like, that's just rude. Like, I don't know who's in the room. Like he also becomes unserious in that moment as well, where like, even though he is sort of like, you know, like projecting old god rhetoric, he then is like just embarrassed to be saying that in front of anybody but the person that he intended to speak to, which is, it's good, man. It is a joke that lands, and I think that it still lands, and I think that it will always land. I think that that's just like a funny thing to do.
I think it's tough to do comedy horror properly. And just to talk about last week's episode as well, again, I thought that Jennifer's body was funnier, but what we learned through talking about it was like the comedy is kind of secondary. But I think that the comedy in this, especially with this scene, it's so ingrained in the DNA of the movie that like you're right, like this is the perfect way to play this, and it's not too much, and it's genuinely funny. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I just love Sitterson and Hadley. Like every time it cuts back to the control room, and they're like, it's all messing up. Like we're messing this up. The people in the cabin are not doing anything that we thought they were going to do. And the implication is like, they've been doing this for so long that it's usually a lock, like, especially when they do the classic horror trope. And there's a very funny part later where the like ring monster and the Japanese like schoolgirls are just like end up figuring out how to like do the chant and have the ghost to go back into the little pond and turn into a frog.
Yeah. Now the ghost will live happily inside of this tiny frog.
Yeah. And then the other screens are just like the people failing, like, so, you know, like,
yeah, there's like a dead kaiju and like a fire being put out. Like, I was trying to find evidence of like what the other, because at the end Sigourney Weaver says like all cultures are different and we have different ways of doing this ritual, but ours is like this. And you know, that made me assume like, okay, so because obviously like the Japanese ritual, they don't have a fool, an athlete, a whore, and a virgin, right? Like it's just a bunch of kids locked in a classroom. So it's like they have a different ritual of some sort. But that speaks to say that like every other culture probably has a different way of doing it as well, right? And like the fact that there's maybe like a King Kong monster or like a Godzilla.
Well,
it's supposed to be like reflective of each country's sort of horror movie cliches,
cultural
right?
sensibilities. Yeah.
But is there a future and a past to it too? Because there's the killer robot at one point. Like, is that from like a Black Mirror future where the killer robots, or is that also just from our time? And that's like,
from Chopping Mall.
Yeah, the Chopping Mall robot from the 80s.
Yeah. Chopping Mall followed the ritual to the T. Killed the whore first, then the athlete. It knew what it was doing.
Chopping Mall is a great movie.
So Hemsworth is a really shitty dude in this movie. Is my next note. What is? Oh, this is where they go. Oh, this is
They
the
go
moose.
swimming.
I called this sequence. Oh yeah,
It's not its fault. It's not its fault.
I know it's not his
It's
fault.
the pheromones. It's the mist.
But even like when he
it's turning the brain into a big dummy.
he does like a. But what happened to him? How did they poison him? Because he didn't dye his hair.
I think just like when they put the pheromones into the. I guess they haven't shown it
I
yet.
think it's just something.
It's probably
That's coming out.
probably in the booze, maybe the alcohol that he's drinking. Like it's probably.
But they haven't even gotten to that point yet. At this point in the movie, they're just like it's the day they get there and they're just swimming, and I think he's just being a kind of a lovable doofus. Like,
But he's not though. He's very smart, and the things that he's saying are misogynistic and gross and very egotistical. That's why I'm like
He's becoming the big jock character.
I know, but what has poisoned him at this point?
Can't remember.
I don't think that they mention it. I
they
think
don't.
this is another hole where I'm like, what is it? Because like everybody else has a specific hole that or a specific thing that has been mentioned. So we're like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. Or maybe actually, I don't think the hair dye was mentioned yet. But anyway, I think they just don't mention what it is that they use to affect him. I'm gonna have to assume it was the booze that he's drinking. Like they put something in it. But like he does like the old horror movie, like there's something in the water, it's my girlfriend, and pushes her in, and then he's like, there's something else in the water, and then he jumps in and he says, it's a gorgeous man, it's me, I'm the gorgeous man, and you're like, all right.
Did the line where
Shut the fuck up. We know you're hot. You don't have to say it.
Just the line where they're like, how should we do it? Should we make it edible or a pheromone? Does it happen before this? Because you could be right. It could just be like he encountered some, because I haven't seen them drink or eat at this point. They just get there and then it's the next day. Like they haven't done that.
I feel like
party
there's
scene.
not an answer that I can give that it's going to be
Okay.
satisfactory.
Yeah.
So like I'm not going to speculate or say things that I don't know for sure. But this is the thing that made me be like, oh, Hemsworth was like, I thought he was supposed to be a smart, because at the beginning when he like gives her like a different type of philosophy text or whatever, to be like, if you read this, then your professor will think that you're smarter than you are. That's how you talk in the whole movie. And and then I don't know.
I think Lynn, so the other scientists, whatever, their assistant says something about upping their drugs in one of these control room scenes.
Yeah, I think Jason was right where it's like, do we want to make it inhaled or edible, or what do we want, or oral? I think especially. And then he's like,
yeah, because
say it again slower, and she's like, you're a fucking pig. And then that's where the reveal is like, I got the stupid drugs, I put it in the hair dye or whatever. I can't remember the exact scientific terms that they use.
maybe it's just in the food that they have at the cabin or whatever, and it's kind of left to imagination after that.
And it doesn't detract from the movie to me at all, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing that like I've seen it so many times now that I'm like, what did they use on Hemsworth? Like I know what they used on this person and this person. What do they use on him?
I didn't even read it that way. I read it more like he just half of his personality is a smart hot man, but half of his personality he's got the jockiness.
He's
so
like, I'm a smart
hot
man and a dumb hot man who had a baby.
So he literally is just like, I love the situation we're in. I'm just gonna throw my girlfriend in the water, because when they get there, they're like, the water's great, come on in. She's like, actually, it's too cold, I'm not gonna go in there. And realistically, it is British Columbia in like September, I guess.
Their breath half the time. It's probably frigid. If you look at Chris Hemsworth's nipples in this sequence when they're on the dock, they are fucking glass cutters. I was maybe looking at them too long, but
yeah,
they were pointy as fuck.
I can appreciate his beauty, but I wasn't like
staring at his nipples. I was.
Yeah.
I was like, look at those nips. So this is where the betting pool occurs as well.
Mm-hmm.
The betting pool is revealed. This is maybe one of my other favorite moments of the entire movie, is seeing just this like NASA style kind of bullpen of scientists all in lab coats and like tech uniforms, and everyone has a name badge on, and they're all like jumping up and down with wads of money in their hands. They're like, all right, the betting pool is almost about to close. Who wants to get what? And you're like, oh my God, they're betting on what? And then they have a whole, They actually don't reveal it, which I like as well, which is they're going around talking about it vaguely, and then there's like an intern that comes up and he tries to give like a wad of money to Hadley, and Hadley's like, no, they've already been chosen, you can't choose that one. And then he's like, but no, who? And he's like, maintenance. He's like, the maintenance, if they fucking pick the same ones every year, it's not fair. And he's like, you can stick with them or you can take another one, but you'll have to split the winnings or whatever. And he's like, I don't know, what would you do? And he's like, all I want right now is for this conversation to end. And
That's great.
yeah, it's all just like these funny little weird interpersonal moments that are very, I wouldn't call them real. They're very like, they're very affected Joss Whedon-y convo. Like they're things that you see in like, you know, that Marvel sensibility or like, you know, bantery shit where every single person in the world has something clever to say. Which is fine for a movie like this. Like it doesn't bother me really, but like there are some things where I'm like, all right, not everybody has to be a fucking wise guy. Like not everybody's cool. Joss Whedon strikes me as the kind of guy who like thinks of the perfect thing to say 10 minutes after he had a confrontation or whatever, and like he writes all of them down and then puts them all in his scripts. No, nobody but me. Okay.
No, I agree with you. The first Avengers movie, I know he has a larger body of work than that, but the first Avengers movie had a very like everybody's got to talk like Tony Stark the whole time for some reason.
Did he direct that or did he just write it?
I think he directed it.
I know he directed the second one, but I don't know if he directed the first one. Did he? No, he's just the writer on the first one.
Oh, did he direct the second one?
Yeah, he directed Age of Ultron.
Oh, I thought he got canceled shortly after the first one. I didn't realize.
I think he got canceled during Age of Ultron time, where people were like,
and then he went over to DC and ruined Justice League with his colorful bullshit.
I mean, I don't know if he ruined it so much as he just like stomped on a turd. Anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So
I had to relocate for a second.
Okay.
Pardon my relocation.
Hey, I love a relocation mid show. We're gonna get to see a background inside of your home. You're clearly in a garage where you drink garage beers. Probably smoke garage cigarettes in there.
It's just garage cigarettes right now.
Garage beers.
No,
so this is the point that I call Moose or Dare, which is
yes,
where they play Truth or Dare, and he thinks that the moose or the wolf is a moose, which is, I don't know, very weirdly funny to me, where he's like, you have to make out with that moose over there, and they're like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, that thing, and they're like, that's not a moose. And then he's like, okay, then make out with that mystery creature over there. Like he just doesn't realize that it's a wolf, which I feel like is very funny, but also is like he is the one who is recognizing all of this sheep's and wolf clothing, or wolf and sheep's clothing sort of stuff around him, and like I feel like this is meant to be something that I'm like, is that it, or am I just looking too into it? I don't know, but I think that it's funny nonetheless. I will say that making out with the moose is, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Makes me uncomfortable, guys.
Where did you go? And then it sounds like the sound of,
taking a piss.
Yeah.
Hemsworth, shitty dude. Okay, so Moose or Dare. After the betting sequence, unless you guys have anything to say, I like that they introduced this weird intern character, but like you don't get a lot of payoff from him, but you do get a little bit. Moose or Dare, I don't have a lot to say about it.
It just, pretty hot, licking those teeth.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Makes me very
it's weird, and also the tension that's created, I feel like we were supposed to be like, is she gonna get bit?
Yeah,
Did
apparently
you guys get that feeling as well?
I never did, but apparently a lot of people watching it did.
You can see the tongue of the thing moving a little bit, but it's because she's affecting it with, I don't know, with her tongue or something like that. So it almost seems like it's starting to animate, but it does not.
I did see how they made that thing and what it was made of and all that stuff, which was cool. But
did they kill a real wolf for it?
No, it's not. They weren't allowed to use a real wolf. specifically because you're not allowed to make out with a dead anything in film. Like you can't.
Fucking Bible.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's one thing
Bible.
after another.
It's also a health issue, but they needed something that they could clean over and over again. So they made the tongue out of like silicone in the teeth. They could remove it all and clean it. So if they had to do multiple takes or whatever.
Oh yes, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's obviously there for titillation. That's the whole point of this entire sequence of events for the next maybe like 10 minutes or so is just like boner alert. Everybody take your clothes off. Everybody suck and fuck. Everybody show your boobies. Everybody's gonna get horny.
Really weird song choice for that part.
Boner alert.
I was extending my song that I wrote so that Jason could find time to click those things.
Thank you. It took a second, and I'm sorry that it took a second, but it's not readily available. We used to do Boner Alert all the time. Boner Alert doesn't have.
I think my song was pretty good too.
Your song was great. Yes.
So the crux of this moment is to set up the truth or dare game so that they can have the I almost said Game of Thrones moment, the Evil Dead moment where where the cellar pops open, and because they've already set up truth or dare, now that works as a perfect opportunity to dare her to go downstairs, which I like. And it's almost like within the context of this movie, them watching that being like, perfect, do it now. She just said dare. So like hit the button. Ding. I almost wish there was like a moment where it cut to them being like, perfect. Click, and like throwing a switch or whatever, like you almost want to see that. I think I understood what the movie was trying to do though, where it's like, we still need to have tension. We cannot break the tension every time we want to add something funny in, because that would be very funny, but it would maybe ruin the tension of the scene. But me, arguably, I would say that like the tension of this movie is never heightened unless they're in like an actual dire murder situation, because of the fact that I know that there are people watching the whole time and controlling most of what's going on. But I guess for a dum-dum, it would still spook you.
When I was rewatching this movie this time, I felt like it was a Squid Game thing where there were like people at home watching, but that's not the case. It's literally just like the old gods are watching it, or like the people in the institute watching it to make sure the tensions are high enough to appease the old gods.
I think it's the old gods.
Yeah.
There's probably like Sigourney Weaver's character probably has some sort of weird billionaire blood ritual that she does where she can like commune with them somehow, but I don't know. And like we're not meant to know that, right? Like that's part of the mystery of the movie, and part of why the movie is so intriguing to me is that there is so much mystery still left at the end of the mystery, where like, oh, the mystery's everything's been unveiled, and it's like, not really though. There's still so much. Like I think that Marty's line where it's like, you figured it all out, and then he's like, not even a little bit. Like that's kind of how you feel by the end of the movie as well, right?
Yeah.
So the cellar, which one of the funniest lines in the movie, which is Chris Hemsworth saying like, it must have been the wind, and then Marty's like, that makes sense. How? Like, what the fuck are you saying? The wind from where? Underground? The aggressive nature of how it opens too is like, absolutely, that's not there. That wasn't no wind. Maybe a mine exploded. But
I also love how when they go and all like start looking around individually,
yeah,
they find, I think, 4 different things that could start the horror, and it just comes down to one person starting whatever the red. I was wondering, like the music box makes sense because you probably just get mystified by the music box, and then there's like the disdain configuration, or the disdain, yeah, the disdain what did I say?
I don't remember what you said, but it was funny.
The disdain arrangement.
Arrangement is funny.
As soon as he picked up the ball and it like went, I was like, oh man. But he doesn't click the thing. And I thought, I misremembered, and I thought that he gets stabbed in the hand.
That's because you're thinking of Hellraiser, the movie.
That's yes, the new Hellraiser, 2022 Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And the other things they find, there's one other one, right? The conch. It's a conch because the one guy loves the idea that the mermaids are coming, which I thought is endlessly funny.
He wants to see the mermaid or the merman. He wants to see a merman really badly. There's a conch shell. There's a music box. There's the diary. There's a necklace, and then there's the lament or what the confrontational arrangement or whatever you call it. And
the disdain arrangement.
The disdain arrangement, and then there's a film reel.
The film reels.
Reel. Which I always like. Sometimes when I watch it, I never really pause it to see how, like, I want to know what he's looking in those negatives. It's like, what is that? What is he seeing in there? You know.
And then how is that like? Are they like they put the reel on? It's probably The Ring.
If they were to put on the movie, it would probably do something.
Yeah, it's
or it'd be like Insidious, or there are so many movies where you put on an old film reel and something horrible is awoken. So like that just kind of works for maybe like 35% of the monsters in that cube prison. I would always wonder that when I watch this movie too. I would argue that, like, when we talk about the cantina moment in movies, this is a cantina moment.
This is a cantina moment.
And this also has an additional cantina moment at the end, which is the prison, right? Like there's like two of them, but this is one of them. Because your mind is going fucking bananas, being like, what? But I mean, only on second viewing. On first viewing, you would never really understand what's happening here. It's just a junk room full of junk. But knowing that every single one of those things can summon something different is so fucking cool and smart. And when you figure that out in the movie itself, you're like, holy shit, that's so cool. And then the second, third, fourth time you watch it, you just like, you almost like have this moment of like, I want to alter the movie. Like, I want to see
what if they pick this.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see what the other movie is.
So maybe like a remake, or you know what I mean? Like maybe
we should just make a new Theorist channel. What happened to the cabins? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. And we'll just do every single one.
Let's explore the depths of the Evil Dead cabin from Cabin in the Woods.
What if they pick the conch shell? Let's explore the depths of it in the video.
A man lies on a beach. The water.
The beach from the movie The Beach, and then everybody gets old.
This movie is almost like what the first 2 or 3 scary movies are, but without it being like a parody. It's like played pretty seriously, but it's still a comedy. Like man, I'm just so blown away by my viewing of this movie this time around, having all the information that I've added to my brain from watching horror specifically.
I feel like the only ones, like, I feel like I know what the conch, I mean, you know what the conch is going to summon because it's confirmed almost minutes later from this point. You know what the music box is going to summon because you see that horrifying toothy ballerina, which is the same actor that plays the young Buckley or Buckner, by the way. She was a pretty big actor at this point in her life. She was in Silent Hill. She played the little girl in Silent Hill.
She's the little girl in Silent Hill.
Yeah, she had like a bunch of roles, and a lot of them horror movies. But she was around for a minute here. I remember because I really liked that first Silent Hill movie. I don't know. I guess because it was
the first one was good.
Weird. Yeah,
first one leans into that town that Silent Hill is based off of, but the movie leaned into it more. I felt that town where there's an underground fire.
There were two things I couldn't get over with that movie. Was Sean Bean.
You don't like Sean
Bean? I like Sean Bean, but not in that movie. I don't. Does he even try to? He tries to do an accent, right? He tries to do an American.
He comes in North America.
He says,
and then,
I think my daughter went to Silent Hill. I think she's down in Silent Hill.
And then I don't know, whatever Silent Hill movie followed had Kit Harington from Game of Thrones in it.
Dog shit.
And he's even worse.
Yeah, he was.
The other thing about
I need to go to Silent Hill. Why can't I get to
Silent Hill?
What do you know about Silent Hill?
Nothing. But yeah, the other thing about Silent Hill, was just a amount of plot dump at the end of it.
Right.
Because that's what you have
It's
to
like-
do. That's what they used to have to do with video game movies. Like, here's all the things you remember from the movie, from the video game in this movie.
Yeah. My
The part
nickname
where
is
Pyramid Head tears that woman's skin
Skin.
off and
Yeah.
throws it at the church door was awesome.
It's crazy
That's
because he
the
first
number
rips
one thing I
all of
remember.
her clothes off. He rips all her clothes off, and then he rips all her skin off. He does like 2 rips, which is it's like he's
It's like,
starting.
hey,
a lawnmower.
audience, do you like this? Well, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah, I don't
Hey,
like.
did
that
you
he ripped
see
all her
this
clothes
one?
off. Oh, I really don't like that he ripped all her skin off. Yeah. Anyway, they used to call me Pyramid Head in high school, but that's because I have a weird shaped penis. So.
You subverted my expectations perfectly there, I have to say.
Joss Whedon had to special order the fortune teller machine for this sequence. That's a thing that I remember from the audio commentary. He said that it made him feel like a real producer because somebody was arguing with him on the phone, being like, "It's going to cost us so much money to order this thing." And he's like, "I don't care how much it costs. I want that fortune teller in Vancouver by 9 a.m. tomorrow." And like he just really felt, and he's like, it wasn't even that much money. Like it was like enough that we could have easily paid for it, but I felt cool. And I was like, oh, that's something that I would probably feel if I had like producer power and like that was a thing where I had a bunch of money to spend. And I just,
You know, that
but then
fucking thing's in his house to this day.
but it's crazy that like that is a thing that, because I mean, it does add, because it's like a huge sort of, not a centerpiece, but it's in the room and it adds to the creep value. For if that fortune teller's machine wasn't in there, I don't know if it would be like, what would they replace it with? Like a bird cage or some shit? Like what would be as cool? A fortune telling machine is scary inherently. Nobody wants to know the future. And then the diary, which is genuinely creepy. Like I think that this is the Evil Dead to a T, right? Like it's basically listening to the like what's the character's name from Evil Dead when he's like, "I am Professor Wiggledick and I found something disturbing," and like he goes through the whole thing, like, and then he reads like the Atu Cloata Cloaca Nictu.
Nictu Cloaca.
Yeah, no, it's what is it?
Clatu
Necktie?
Barata Nictu. Yeah.
Clatu Barata Nictu. Yeah. And like that's what this is, right? But I do love that again. Marty is like, "All right, I'm drawing the line here. Like, we do not read the Latin. Please don't read the Latin." And like,
Yeah.
the movie trope powers are taking over, and Thor is like, "Stand down, mortal. Let her read the Latin." And then
What is this?
This is also
I love it. Bring me another.
This part stuck out to me. So in order to get Holden to wear glasses, if he's going to be like the nerd character,
he has to read.
He pulls out reading glasses so that he can see the text in the book. But
yeah.
I mean, what is he? He's like 20 years old. What does he need reading glasses for?
Hey, I need reading glasses.
He's smart.
Not at 20.
I needed reading glasses when I was 12.
Really?
Yeah,
You couldn't see?
I didn't get
Oh, jeez.
glasses till I was like 28.
it helped,
And
me
only
with,
because
it helped me. It literally helped me with dyslexia. Like it was weird. Like I think it was like a neuro type thing where like it actually helped me focus, like magnifying everything larger. Like I don't know. It was like putting in earplugs or something. It actually helped me stop fiddling.
I got glasses because when I moved to Toronto,
I can't stop fiddling lest I take my Ritalin and put some glasses on my face. Honk, honk.
I can't stop fiddling lest I take my Ritalin. That's great. I had to get glasses because I was annoyed that I had to sit about this far away from my TV to play video games. But then also I ride a lot of bicycles around the old city.
Ride a lot of bicycles?
You
ride
a lot of bicycles.
Yeah, and I couldn't see the signs on the road, and I was like, I'm kind of blind. So,
all right. So
they read the
Latin, and we get the Buckner reveal as their I I was going to say spunking out of the ground. That's not right. As they're barfing themselves up out of the earth. And my main wonder was, were they all in the same box? Because, you know, like some of them have like a bunch in a box, or did they have their own individual boxes? I assume they're all in the same
probably
box.
I don't think they were in boxes at all.
Yeah.
They were. That's how they get back down. That's how the whole movie.
Oh, I thought you meant like caskets.
No,
Yeah, no.
they're in a cube. Yeah, they're
Yes.
in one
Yeah.
cube. Do you think they were all in one cube? Is what I was asking.
Oh, boy.
The whole family in that cube.
Popping boys probably like, I'm not sharing a cube with my sister.
I don't want to share a cube with my sister, Dad. And he's like, you better put that face back around your tongue lest I get a father's bulge and sucker punch you down your
Yes.
throat.
Christ.
I
I have a question. Aren't they all robots? Isn't that
No, they're real.
But how does the nerd guy help out? He cuts them all apart and he's dealing with electronics later. And I thought that it was a robot. And then for a minute, I'm like, is everything robots? But it's not. They're mythical creatures that exist.
Cut up a zombie and he's like, yeah, I kind of dismembered that. The reason he's still moving around is because he's unkillable. He's a zombie. He can't die.
Yeah. Okay. I had my wires crossed during that scene. Before I was fine with everything being real in this universe. After, obviously fine because they shows it. But for a moment, I was like, "Why is there a back door in this hole?" And also, were they robots the whole time? But they weren't. They weren't at all. I was just dumb.
That would have been a good twist.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they were robots the whole time.
When did you? What are you doing when you're watching these movies, Jason? I don't know.
I'm watching them. I'm just like I'm thinking extraterrestrially. I think.
I'm thinking like an alien. All right.
Yeah. I've done a lot of things to my brain, just like the stoner character in this. So
and
I'm like, we're all puppets, man.
We're
not puppets though.
Rednecks or whatever, just like you.
Yeah. Hey,
so I wonder if the Buckners were all in the same box is a question that I was wanting to ask you guys, and I was hoping that you would answer. The answers that I got was, wait, are they robots or not? And I think that they were in the same box.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got your answer, Waters.
Yeah. The texts celebrate the pool, because this is where it's revealed. We get to see what the pool is, and it turns out that they were betting on which horrifying monster would be chosen. And this is maybe the joke that lands the hardest for me. Like, it gets me. This actually, we already skipped over it when she is holding the book and she's like, look, and then there's Latin, and he's like, I'm gonna draw my line at the Latin, and then you hear a voice be like, read it, and he turns around and he's like, yeah, fuck. Like, just his delivery, like all of his deliveries on his bits are very funny in this movie. That got a real good chuckle out of me. But this moment where, you know, and the winners are the maintenance department, the Buckners, everyone, the Buckners, and everyone's, you know, either disappointed or cheering. And then it's like, and the maintenance will be sharing their pool with Ted from the IT department. No, he's not. Isn't he just an intern? Ted the intern.
The intern, yeah.
And you just like see in the background, like, which is a very cartoony moment and funny. But then there's like another woman that comes up and says like, wait, I had zombies too. And he's like, yes, you did. But zombies are one category. And over here, this is zombie redneck torture family. They're very different.
They've got the big board with all the things on it.
I think he says it's
the big board with all the things on it.
The big board.
Like
yeah. You got your deadites. You got your giant. You got your dismemberment goblins.
Alien beasts, mutants.
One of them just named Kevin.
Yes.
Dragon bat. Zombie redneck torture family. Jack-o'-lantern. The Bride.
The Huron.
Sasquatch / Wendigo / Yeti. Nobody had that.
There's a snowman. Oh man, we didn't get to see a snowman.
What's the sugar dismemberment?
Sugar Plum Fairy.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sugar Plum Fairy is that toothy ballerina, because she's got all the teeth in her head.
Maybe, yeah. Not the Huron. Was there a bird?
Zombie redneck.
Oh no! Angry molesting tree. That's Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
I was on it. I was gonna say something else. I can't remember what it was, but I mean, oh wait, it was what he equates it to is an elephant and an elephant seal. He's like, well, they're completely different. Just because it has zombie in the name does not mean that you get to split the pool.
No, it's a hills. It's a hills have eyes thing, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
I also wonder, like, how
leather
long has he been around for that he's seen most of it, probably, right? Or all of them, maybe? Like, has he seen every single one get pulled?
So, okay. So are the people in the Institute mystical? Like, are they demons? Or are
No,
they people?
They're people. They're
So
the
he's
people,
literally
equivalent to the
60s,
they're the
and
equivalent they're the equivalent of the people that would throw the virgin into the volcano to appease the god. Like, they're just
Okay.
mortals that are, instead of like chanting and wearing ceremonial garb. Remember at the end when he's like, just get some robes and a curvy dagger and stab her on some rocks.
rock.
It's not that simple. It's not that difficult. And she's like, no, it's much more simpler than that. It's, you have to, there's some pageantry that needs to be involved. So
the
it's
archetypes.
like, it's just the humans trying to stop the gods from coming back. Yeah, they're not demigods or anything like that. They know what to do to stop it. It's like they're the descendants of people that have been doing it forever or something.
It's like a metaphor for like secret societies a little bit.
How do they get into this?
Or
stuff?
it's just a secret society. I don't know if it's a metaphor. It's just literally that.
Did they go to school for this stuff?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you guys think the first one was?
The what?
The first one. The first of all of this.
A volcano.
Okay, what was the second one then?
Volcano.
They did volcanoes for a long time.
Yeah, like 100 years.
It's all we had.
Yeah,
it's all we had.
Well, it was
Basically,
probably the way I think about it is like, these are the gods that probably walked the earth at some point, right? And they were able to appease them to stop creating death and torture on earth. And it's like, well, what can we do to stop you from doing this? And it's like, you must sacrifice one of your own to me, a virgin, someone who's never experienced life. And then they do that. And he's like, good, I'll leave you alone for 1 year. But he's probably still like walking around earth. And they
next year better be good.
Last year the virgin burning didn't really do it for me. You need to like maybe a cooker, or maybe chase her around a bit first. Like it grows and grows, and the cultures determine how it works or whatever. Right?
We need one World War II Army vet. We need one at-home woman who has just got the right to vote, and we need one African American.
Can you do that for me? And they're like, okay, Master Rockbeard, we will.
Awfully specific for the time we're in.
Yeah. Also, what's World War II? It's like years away. And he's like, damn, I live in a demi-plane where we don't experience time the same way. So I thought that you had already reached that point. World War I? They're like, what do you mean World War
the Great
I?
War
There's going to be a second one? Yeah, hold on. I have to go washroom.
Have you heard of Korea? Well, let's see what note I have next. Only the stoner can hear the whispers, and Latin brings about the slasher. This is about where we are in the movie. We saw a pic of the board. So
we know who wins.
This is what I wanted to ask while we're at this point in the movie. Obviously, we find out later that it's all humans up and down. But when they keep referencing him downstairs, they're referencing the old gods. But even to this point in the movie, I'm kind of like, is it Satan? And I think that's deliberate, right? Like,
maybe. I feel like they've said not old gods, but the ancient ones.
I think they have.
I feel like they've said that by now.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think there's ever any really indication of what that looks like physically.
Okay, but how about this, Graham? What if when they went to the basement, they did all of the things at the same time accidentally? And Steven, you're back. Steve, you're back.
This is a real derailer.
This is going to be a real derailer, and I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom while you guys discuss it as
geez.
well. But what if when they went into the basement, they did all of them at the same time by accident?
I've thought about this before as well, whereas like
Discuss.
imagine you had like a friend with like really bad ADHD and he just like grabbed the necklace, put it on, blew on the conch shell.
I do.
And then, started reading from the diary really quickly and was like, I only read Latin.
What's this? What's
And
this?
like,
What's this?
give me the power, I beg of you. And then like, I assume it would summon multiple. If he does them,
Yeah, but
speed run it.
I guess they'd have to be like, where? How would they all be directed? That'd be tough for the pool, I guess.
It would also be hard to make sure the right ones die first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you get the redneck zombies coming from there. Where would the merman show up? I feel like they'd have to go to the lake or something.
The lake is where he would come.
They had to find a reason to go to the lake.
The ghost
would
be there. I feel like the hardest part probably for their job, because like the only stipulation it seems is, or the only caveat is that like the virgin or the whore has to die first. So it's like that's tricky to make happen unless the monsters already have also determined that, which I assume you can't control the monsters because like the elevator sequence would prove otherwise, right? Like the whole elevator bursts open and a million monsters come out and just start killing indiscriminately. I don't really know how you control that aspect unless you assume that the whore is always going to be meek and small and easy to kill, and you get them in a situation where like these Buckner people, like they love pain, right? They worship pain. They're pain worshiping backwoods morons or whatever. And so they like to kill her first makes sense, I guess, to them because it will cause more pain for him. I don't know. But, like I think about like the clown and the ghost and like the Cenobites and shit. Like, do they have that information or do they just like show up and kill whoever's in the water first? The merman.
Yeah, it's very, very convenient and lucky for the storytelling that they just got the most obvious one given their setting.
But I do believe that
where would they go?
They probably have ways for individual monsters to seclude and ensure, right? Like I think about the Friday the 13th movies and it's like, oh, that happens all the time, skinny dipping or whatever, right? Like if it was the merman, for example, they would probably have a way to isolate in the same way that they did with the Buckners, which is they get those two out to have sex in the woods. They just get them to go to the lake instead. They probably have barriers that come up or whatever, right? They make a certain path lit better to lead them to the lake. And then they heat
like a video game where everything is yellow along your path that you're supposed to go.
Exactly. So they probably heat the lake. So there's like steam coming off of it and it looks really nice to go swim in. And it's like, yeah. And then she takes her clothes off even fat. Remember when they were struggling with her to get her clothes off or whatever? Like it seemed like that was part of it too, right? Like we got to show some tit. The tit needs to be out because the gods can see the tit.
So you, I'm sure you know this or have thought it, and of course I got it from a video that I watched. But the old gods being not the old gods, but the ancient ones. Is that what they call them technically?
I think it's the ancient
ones.
Yeah,
they're the audience.
Yeah, that's what I always assumed because they keep saying throughout like we're not the only ones watching. We need to make sure that they're impressed. Like that's who's
it's like impressing the audience of a horror movie with all these different options.
Yeah, and the fact that they say like it used to be you could just throw a virgin into a volcano, like that was enough. And it's like the further we go, we have to create these elaborate things. Like magic exists, so we're gonna make these monsters or not make them, but like capture these monsters in our prison of ghouls and goblins and horrifying shit, and we release them onto these people to give them a because but at the same time we are the ancient ones, like we're the ones.
I think that's part of the meta of it all. Yeah. Also,
because we are entertained by it and we pay them millions and millions of dollars to they become rich and wealthy, like we are.
And the whole question at the end of like, should we just like kill the virgin and the world is saved, or should we buck that and try to fight against? But there's something I was thinking about.
That's not
just
the
a moment.
end, Jason. Did you misinterpret the end? Come on.
No,
man.
there's some questions to ask at the end. But what I was realizing is this. You guys were talking about video games and stuff. This is Zombies Ain't My Neighbors, the movie. You never played
it. I never played Zombies Ain't My Neighbors.
The conceit of
You
Zombies Ain't My
can't play
Neighbors.
them all.
It's a Super Nintendo game from the 90s where every time, like, you are in a level and there's one classic monster that you're fighting. It's either like Jason style slasher or like little, there was no Chucky in this movie, which I thought was a missed opportunity. Or there's like killer clowns or there's whatever. And you're trying to save the like people of the town and you're going through these levels and then you warp to the next level and it's a new monster that you have to fight. And the fact that there's these groups of people that have to keep going through this ritual every year indicated to me that this is the closest we'll ever get to a Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It's one of those games that, like, it's kind of a cult classic, but
I'm cutting this off. Fuck off with this. You're just talking.
I would just like to mention that we're 2.5 hours into this.
Yeah,
podcast,
I was about to say, like, what do we do? We're gonna let you talk for 25 minutes,
and there's still
Thanks,
an hour of this movie left.
Thank you, World Mind. Thank you. It
Okay.
is like Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
I'm glad
Anyway.
that when you watch this movie, it made you think of your favorite video game, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, from Super Nintendo. Was that a Super Nintendo game, or was it
was a
Sega
Super
Genesis
Nintendo game.
Okay.
I think it was also on Sega Genesis.
I never
It's of the
played
era.
it on either. I remember seeing someone play it once when I was very young. I remember seeing someone play the Freddy Krueger video game when I was very young, and it scared me because I was like, Freddy Krueger's scary, so now I'm automatically scared.
There was a Freddy Krueger game?
Yeah, there was a Nightmare on Elm Street video game. I think you played as Freddy too. Anyway, party time. The whore is being whorish and the athlete is being a prick. The fool is being smarter than everyone else.
Oh.
That's when she dances, and that's where the reveal that the movie is trying to be like, she's being whorish just like a whore, because the whole thing is that she has to be a whore to die. But then it's revealed that she's just dancing, and then she's being sort of like very touchy and feely, but that's the hair dye, obviously. And then it's revealed it's like, we were sweethearts in our first year dorm, and he's like, we just made out or whatever. And this is the point I was trying to make before, where it's like, oh, they're stuffing them into this Play-Doh mold of what they want. Like, she's not actually a whore, she's just being portrayed that way for the gods. Like, they literally are dressing people up and poisoning their minds in order to make them into what they think the gods will like, which is a very cool concept. But I don't think that a lot of people get that when they watch this the first time. They don't understand that that's what's happening. They think that these people are just acting this way.
I don't think I got it the first time, to be honest. I just thought it was like almost like they found people from the outset that fit the molds rather than guiding them into the archetypes.
I think that I not to toot my own horn, but like that was the most interesting part about the movie to me the first time I saw it, was that they were doing that, where it's like they're forcing them to be the things that we know from movie. Like, it was so impressive to me that I couldn't not just hyper focus on that. Like, everything else,
you run outside and tell everybody, I've got it.
Yeah.
Eureka!
Yeah, I did. After the movie came out, I was like, best movie ever made. Shut Hollywood down. We don't need any more. We found the best one. But this also leads us into the first kill, which is, again, showcasing some of the cooler aspects of their control of the environment, where they're tweaking the lighting, and they're making the temperature go up in certain pockets. Like, he's trying to take her clothes off and she's like, it's too cold here. And they're like, let's pump up the heat. And then they
shoot pheromones into the air. Yeah, that's good.
But also, it also plays into the weird things that you see in horror movies all the time that don't make sense, which is like, why is it so misty here? Like, mist just rolls in the middle of the fucking night? And it's like, yeah, maybe once in a while, but it doesn't happen in every fucking horror movie. But in this, it's like, no, the mist is literally there because it's affecting their horniness level. It's like,
and then the video game retcon that Jason moves as a mist as well, which I think is a fun thing to think about during all of this.
Yeah, sure. What? Oh, you're talking about the Friday the 13th video game.
The game, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Nintendo game.
But in the context of this movie, it's like every trope that you've ever known about these types of movies is being controlled by a bunch of nerds in a bunker, right? So it's like the mist is there not because it's misty, it's because that mist is making you way too horny that you can't help yourself but fucking a pile of moss. And you know what? They light that moss so well, these scientists, man, that I'm like, I would fuck in that moss. It looks cozy as heck. It looks soft and nice.
I thought of you watching this movie with the like lighting, how the lighting is good, and when she goes into the water in the RV and she's underwater, it's like shot like a tapestry. It's not just like bad, dark, weird.
I gotta say, like
close shots.
Some of the lighting in this movie is pretty bad, though. Like it's not.
We're on the cusp of them starting to do that bad lighting, but
it's a little too dark at times. Where I'm like, I would have liked to seen those Buckners a little bit more well lit. Like I don't really know. And watching all the special feature stuff, I was like, dang, they look so fucking cool. Like the mom has all these coals in her belly that are glowing. They have like glow, and you see it once or twice in the movie, but like the way it looks is like fucking sick, and it's disappointing to me that they didn't light that better so that you could actually see the details. But that's Hollywood movie magic for you.
But also during all of this, kind of simultaneously or in a few minutes, the stoner like just knocks over a vase and then finds a camera and then starts pulling on the camera, and it turns into like he's like, am I in a reality
That's not
TV
yet.
show? Right.
We're getting there.
Okay.
He is actually reading Little Nemo.
Oh,
a childhood book that but like before that, well, they go out and there's a little conversation with him and Dana where he's like, are you buying any, like what's happening here? Like, I don't understand. Why is he acting like that? Like, I've seen them drunk and I've seen them high and they don't act like this. And then that's where he first says like,
puppeteers,
strings, puppet strings, we're being controlled. And she's like, what? And then he goes back into like, I got to go read a book with pictures. And then he goes, and then the next time you see him, he's literally reading a book called Little Nemo, which I'm not familiar with. I assume it's a children's book that's famous, but what he says is like,
well, Little Nemo is a famous children's book that was turned into a Nintendo game and an anime.
Well, there you go. And
it's
then
a
that
classic.
Turned into Finding Nemo. But so
great video game.
Yeah.
The best part is that he's smoking out of like a pipe and he goes like, Nemo, you gotta wake up, man.
Yeah.
It's a pretty thick picture book too.
Bit of a metaphor for this movie too, because they're kind of in like a dream.
But it
like
seems like they're
situation.
only trying to fuck with him with that auditory thing. Like everyone else, they're messing with in very sort of like tepid and easy way. Like he's the harder one to break, that they're having to use like psychological tricks to be like, go for a walk. And he's like, what the fuck is going on in here? You trying to get me with your fucking puppet dance? Or I can't remember what his lines are, but he does a very good job of being like paranoid. And then he's like, am I though? Like he questions himself, and you're like, that's the weed working. That's the treated weed that they've given him is making him question himself. The real stuff is him like breaking through that stoner vision or whatever. But he still is being affected by it because it tells him to go for a walk, and then he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. And he goes for a walk to take a whiz, I guess.
I'm the boss of my own brain, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go for a walk.
And then
make out.
Oh yeah, the horny porny scene it's good, but it's it's like it's a typical titillating scene from a horror movie, but the true sort of interesting bit about it is that these two old men are watching it and they're like, show us some booby, baby. And they're like, nice. And then the other guy's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, we're not like, and he's like, are you guys that gross? And he's like, no, this isn't, we're not jerking off in here from this. Like, this has to happen. Like, and like, there's another layer of explanation being like, this is a thing that we have to do. Like, we're not doing this because we want to see tits. We're doing this because they want to see tits. And again, like but
sub bonus we also get to see too.
Yes, but also they being the old gods, being us, the audience, right? Like we are the ones that are being appeased as well. Like that's, I guess, also sort of like the sub commentary of this movie is that like,
Yeah, absolutely.
being appeased.
What's a horror movie in the 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts without some bits?
Exactly.
Every
And-
single one. But somehow just part of it. I've thought about this at length of like why. I guess it's like it's a movie for teens, and teens are at the drive-in or at the theater, like macking on their girls, or they're there with their bros. Like it's just like it's feeding the ultimate.
Or macking on their bros, Jason. Jesus, get fucking real.
They're macking on their bros or their theys. Sorry.
In Jason's
Well,
mind,
if we go back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the aughts, it was, you didn't see titties every day, and you couldn't.
yeah, it was the same, and it
If
was there
you-
because you had to. That's how you got your fucking marbles out, or whatever the way they say, rocks off.
Yeah, they're
You can get
got
your
your
rocks
marbles out. This movie
Yeah.
made me get my marbles out.
Gentlemen, gather around and get your marbles out.
I can't believe another rude boy tried to bite me on the way home today. So yeah, I like that it implies that the old ones are watching, but like the implication of the movie so heavily is that we are also like the ones being appeased, right? Like that's the smart. That's sort of like the whole contextual sort of alignment of this movie.
This is Squid Game for the old ones.
Yeah. And we are the old ones, the viewer,
Mhm.
the one who are
So this
macking
is-
on our babes or pulling our marbles out on our own or whatever.
Yeah, this is just Squid Game, I guess.
Yeah.
And our squids are our marbles, and our babes are our marbles as well.
Listen, there's a good moment in Squid Game where they all have to pull their marbles out and have a.
It's true. They play marbles.
I gotta tell you right now, a bear trap on the end of a chain is a fucking wild ass weapon. Like, just like
I did remark
grabbing guys.
out loud, "What a sick weapon!" While I was just watching the movie alone.
I
in a
guarantee you, they
hospital.
went through every single Jason Voorhees weapon, and they're like, "What has he not done? Like, what has he never
Yeah.
done?" And they're like, "A bear trap." And it's like, you can't just walk around with a bear trap. And it's like, what about a bear trap
What about
like that
on
you
a chain?
throw at someone? It's
That
like,
chomps.
yeah,
It's a
okay.
chain chomp.
Why wasn't Mario one of the monsters?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Or at
man.
least a Goomba.
Yeah,
Goomba.
a really, but not a Goomba. One of the Goombas from the Super Mario Brothers
Yeah.
90s movie,
Just one
which
of
is
the-
just a
Oh my
huge
God.
guy with a little head.
Yeah, this is weird little.
That wouldn't feel out
ball.
of, that wouldn't feel out of place in this motley crew of monsters.
It really wouldn't. Well, just a
Um,
giant marble, I think, would be a good monster to have in this instance.
So sex is interrupted by a stab to the hand, and then Chris Hemsworth does a great job of beating up the zombies. Like he's just athletically like shoulder bashing people and punching people, and you're like, oh yeah, this is what everybody who has ever watched a horror movie being like, why don't you just fucking punch him? And he's action man punching people, and it's working. Like it's knocking them over and stuff, and then he gets captured, I guess, by one of the two boys. I think their names are Matthew and Judas or Judah. And he has to watch as Jules' head gets sawed off, which is frightening.
Incredible. So my thought for all of this too was like, this is way harder core, way more hardcore than I remembered it to be. Like I didn't remember the horror and the gore in this movie to be so like brutal. And this scene where they literally saw her head off is fucked.
Well, you don't really see it.
Well, they cut before it, but you get the feeling of it.
Yeah, it's
Because
heavily implied.
there's a nice shot where it's coming across.
And then
Creepy
it cuts
for sure.
to,
Yeah.
And the stab to the hand too, like moments before, is like crazy.
That's pretty well
Yeah.
done because like it's clearly her hand, and they use some sort of compositing effect to make the stab look real. It's good. But to me, like the coolest part here is because I've been eyeballing these weird cabinets behind them the whole time. I'm like, what are those things? And as she dies, they go up and they open one, and there's like a crazy old timey lever in there, like a Frankenstein style lever. And then you see like all these mechanisms that you saw at the beginning of the movie in the intro, like the opening credits. And it has this like hammer that spins around and breaks a vial of blood, and the blood pours into this glass bowl that dribbles down into like a little spout that pours into a carving. And you're like, what the fuck is going? The first time I watched this, I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is so intriguing to me.
Well, even this time watching
I was so sold on all of this stuff, like all of the going back, and then this made it like to this next level that I did not expect. Where I'm like, I thought they were just going to be like pencil pushing the whole time. Once I started to understand what the vibe was, and I'm like, oh no, they're like cultists. This is like a crazy cult, and they're all just like, but they get paid and they go home to their wives to fix their cabinets.
My note here was, before I remembered what it was, feed the blood to the runes for Satan. This bit's actually darker than I remember. It's giving Hellraiser a bit.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about this moment?
I just said it.
Oh, that's just you're, I thought you were gonna have more of like a this conversation. So the blood drips into the carvings. You don't really see what one is yet, which is kind of cool, because you're like, what is that? What is going on? It's hard for you to put yourself back into like the first time you saw it, but you're like, what was I thinking when I first saw that? Because I know it.
Well, throughout the movie, when they show those runes, or I mean, they're not runes. They turn out to be like carvings of people, but they show a little bit more every time.
Yeah,
I think they do it for everyone that
I think
dies,
by
right?
the second one, I was like, oh, it's like some sort of figure, and then as it went on, I was like, okay, I know what this is. And then this is where we cut back to Marty reading Little Nemo, which we're all like, okay, and then the puppet dance or whatever, and he goes out to take a whiz. He also does a good callback to the husband's bulge joke, which, you know, in the context of the diary, it's horrifying to think it's like he had a husband's bulge. Oh my god! And then as he's walking past the two of them after they're making out, he's like, he's got a husband's bulge. Watch out! And he like just walks past the like. Oh, they turned something that was spooky into something funny. That's good. He also, again, every time he leaves a room or is like about to, be taken again by the weed, he says something that's ever more so insightful or meaningful to what's actually happening within the movie. So like, he's like, strings, puppet strings. And then at this point, he's like, there's no stars out here. And he's like, we are abandoned. Like, he just says that to the sky before a little tiny armless lady is coming up behind him to stab him to death with a trowel or whatever.
And this is one of my favorite parts. There's nothing so intricate or foreboding about it. It is just the clotheslining the girl as Hemsworth runs by, and then saying, "Dead bitch."
I like the pissing part because it's genuinely pretty frightening, because behind him you can see her moving around, and every time he looks, she kind of just gets into the shadows of the trees or something, and then as soon as he looks back, she gets back into whatever light is there. Because I think that everybody who's ever been to a cottage or camping or anywhere where there's no city lights or things to sort of like give you proper acute vision has experienced this, where everything around you is almost pitch black. Again, I don't believe in ghosts or ghouls or demons, but I do believe in bears and things that can
I also believe in going to take a piss while you're camping and the full dark enveloping you and being like, I don't believe in anything, but at the same time, what if a snake jumped up and bit my penis?
Yeah, there's a snake on my dick.
It's a great name for a movie. But where does it go from there?
Yeah.
Or you don't see a
snake on my dick.
You don't see the snake for like the first hour, and the audience just keeps saying, "Where's the snake? When are we going to see the snake?"
Yeah.
Start wondering if things are a metaphor for the snake. The snake within?
The snake within?
Let's get these motherfucking snakes off this motherfucking dick.
So this is when the movie goes from like kill them one by one to kill them all at the same time. And I think it's good. They get into the cabin. They have a moment where they're trying to lock it, and then Dana is like, "We're not leaving." Like, again, dumb movie trope of like, go back out there when it's like everyone's saying don't go back out there. She tries, and then he's just standing there with a severed head of their friend. They never mention this person's death again after the head is thrown at them, but it's one of those things that I'm like, okay, well, fine. We got it. It's good. Print, wrap it. Let's go. But then we still get more of them controlling the environment, right? Like they do close off Father Buckner. They close off.
And this is the scene I said before where the stoner finds the camera, gets pulled out the window.
Yeah. They all get locked in their rooms individually. But not before they do the thing where the gas comes out and he's like, wait, we should all split up or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is that was a trailer moment for me, which this is one of the reasons I went to go see it, was this, where it's like this. And then him being like, I'm dumb now. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like he's smarter than he's dumb. Wow. So I was the dumb one in the theater being tricked, but then turns out the movie was good. So I didn't get tricked that hard. But yeah, they all get, and then they all agree. And again, Marty is the only one.
Good idea.
What
they say.
the
Great
hell
idea.
are you guys saying? Like, what? Really? They all get locked in their own rooms individually, and then that's their plan, right? Is like isolate them all one by one, and we'll just kill them now because it doesn't matter what order they die in, as long as the virgin dies last. The rest of these fuckers can get smushed in whatever way possible. And yes, Jason, this is where he like knocks over a lamp or something, or like, yeah, and then he's like, what the fuck? And he finds like a snake camera that's like going through the whole place. And it seems like, I guess this is seemingly the only time this has ever happened to them, where he's like, uh-oh, that's not good. Like, what do we do? And then he, what's his name? The funnier one, the younger, funnier one. I can't remember his name. He says like, I need to pump the room full of Thorazine. I don't know what Thorazine would do. Does that kill you? I don't know what it does.
No idea.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I assume it would do something that would like immobilize him or something. And then the other guy's like, no. Judah Buckner to the rescue. And he realizes like, oh, I'm on a reality TV show. This is so much better than what I thought it was. And then he gets smashed.
Thorazine is used to treat schizophrenia.
Oh, what?
Yeah. It blocks dopamine receptors in the brain. It's used to treat prolonged hiccups and severe nausea as well. And it's not really used anymore. It's from the 50s. It sedates you, though. It does sedate you.
Okay, so they just want to knock him out. So he gets stabbed by the Buckners. Yeah, he gets ripped out. He has a little combat moment, and then he gets dragged off into the ditch. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to say about this moment here. I don't really.
No, I thought he was toast, though. I thought he was done.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I'd seen this.
He's got a knife in his back.
Yeah, he gets stabbed.
I think
that also happens with
I think
Chris
that every
Hemsworth earlier,
time
where he gets stabbed like into here and pulls the knife out, and then he's still able to run.
I think for me, I also thought he was dead because of the level of, death that he had. And
they pull the switch because the people in the control room assume that he's dead.
And this is why this movie is great for secondary and tertiary watches. It's like there's so many good ways to view it. But the first time I watched this, I was like, yeah, he's dead for sure, because that's a huge trowel that has just been stabbed into his spine. If anything, he won't be able to walk. But they pull the thing, but as they pull it, immediately like an earthquake starts, right? And it's like, in the context of the movie, watching it the first time, you're like, oh, maybe this is just what happens when they kill the second.
No, but we learned that they're just like not doing it fast enough, and the old gods are
No.
stirring.
They pulled the lever when that guy wasn't dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they're upset that they hit the vial of blood to go down his statue when he had not been killed yet. That's
Interesting. Yeah.
That's how I read that. I was
No, you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense. But the guys in the control room are naive to that because they're saying, like, I think they say we're getting some noise from down below, like
some feedback.
We must be putting on a good show.
They think that they're doing a good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my thoughts were the first time I saw that, but I do now know, like, after the 10th time I've seen this movie, where I'm like, oh no, they're just pissed off that they cracked that vial without actually
the
kill.
Yeah.
I want to interject that it is 10:50 and there's still a bunch of movies, so maybe you just kind of move us through a bunch.
Well, the next stuff right now after Marty's death for me is kind of a bunch of nonsense. The basement sequence, it's fine, standard horror movie stuff. The nerd and the virgin go down into the basement and they try and survive, and then they just get, like, they get attacked, and then they defeat Papa Buckner. I would say this whole sequence actually is just a bunch of very generic horror movie stuff that is lit up beautifully with what this movie's about, which is all of this strange the organization having to intervene in some capacity, or the real information is coming that's important or compelling is that stuff. So, like, we learned that the Japanese team has lost. The little ghost got turned into a little frog or whatever.
So cute.
They do the basement sequence. They kill Buckner, but he's not actually dead, obviously, because he's a zombie and can't die. But they escape in the RV with Thor. Thor comes and grabs them, and then after that, we learn that Japan fails. They turn their ghost into a frog. Then they realize that as they're escaping in the RV, that the tunnel is still up, and that the tunnel should have been blown like hours and hours and hours ago. But I guess demolitions fucked up somehow. But they also realize that, like, they don't have the ability to blow it now. They're like, what? We can't blow it. There's something wrong. Something's going on here. And so there's this weird actiony moment that I think is, like, really commendable to this movie, where I'm like, I am caring about this man succeeding in demoing this tunnel while these people who are our protagonists that I'm supposed to care about escape. And I'm like, it's a race to see who gets to do what first. And I'm like, and I care about both. Like, I want to know what's going to happen. Do they get out? And you know what? Whatever the scenario, I'll be happy, because, like, if this guy blows it and stops them, the movie continues, and I get to keep watching this amazing shit. If they get out, they've defeated the organization. It's such a strange predicament that the movie puts you in. And you end up eventually,
we'll get to this, but you eventually end up rooting for the monsters.
Yeah, a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I do love this. I do love this sequence because, like, speaking of action, they turn it into a full action movie sequence when they go back and they have a whole motorcycle jump because they're trying to escape back.
Yeah, the RV jump is next. So they blow the tunnel because there is an action moment where what's his name? Richard Jenkins has to run through like James Bond, and he's like, make a hole, get out of my way, and he goes in and they're like, we couldn't blow it, and he's like pulling shit out, like, and pulling wires, and he's like, and he finally blows the tunnel. And you feel just as much satisfaction as you would with the hero of the movie, and you're like, wait a minute, is he the hero all of a sudden? Like, this man has become the hero for this moment. That's where my brain started to split in half, where I'm like, oh my god, these guys are not the bad guys. These guys are not the good guys. Nobody is anything in this movie, and I don't
Nobody's
know
anything in this movie. Yeah,
but
right.
in a good way. I wrote down "old man to the rescue," and he blew the cave. Good job, buddy. And then the bike jump. I guess they brought the bike with them. Isn't it on the back of the?
It's on the back.
On the back.
It's on the RV in the beginning.
This is a thing that I always think every time I watch this movie, and I always think to see if it's attached to the back every time. I'm like, is it there? But both of you guys said it is, so I'll believe you. They send Chris Hemsworth to his death, and he has to jump the gorge and he's like, I'll come back with every force from Asgard that I can muster. And you're like, oh, okay. Thank God that we have Thor on our side. And he's like, all right, out of my way, mortals. And he's like, and he hits a giant invisible wall that kills him. He dies in a very spectacular fashion, but
he bounces down the wall, like the
way. I see
it keeps going, and it's like a bottomless ravine.
The way I thought of it is like it's like a sphere that like encapsulates everything. So like he hits the side, and then as he falls, he's hitting the curvature of the sphere. I don't know why I thought it was like
it's a really cool sequence. Like storytelling standpoint, that's like choreographing that this guy's about to die.
Yeah,
because it's like you're seeing him being very brave, and the music swells as he rips his bike back and forth to take off, and quite shocking. And I love the way it looks when he hits that force field as well. There's almost a little, I wouldn't call it a camera move, but when he hits it, the impact is sort of scored by, well, I'd say a camera move where it just kind of the force field wall or something moves slightly before he starts tumbling down.
Yeah, a Thor sphere, as we call it. Diddling, 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 diddling. So after this moment, they decide to drive back into the woods, and there's a whole thing going on in the
comment section, and they're just sigma rizzing each other's 6-7s or whatever.
Yeah. So they decide to drive back into the woods, and as they do so, he's like, we'll just drive the other way. And she's like, we're not getting out the other way. And he's like, okay, well, if we do, then we'll find something. And she said, we won't. Every way out of here is going to get blown up or washed away or whatever. And he's like, well, then we'll drive into the woods, and we'll go as far as we can into the woods and, survive. And she's like, you don't fucking get it, do you? And he's like, we're going to do this. And then he gets stabbed in the neck. And you're like, okay, finally, this fucking dweeb is dead. And then he dies, and they drive into the water, and it turns out a Buckner is there. And then everybody celebrates. This is when the celebrating starts. The scientists in their lab, the engineers, the technicians, they all start to crack open the brewskis. And another amazing comedic joke is, I guess all jokes are comedic, but at this point in the movie,
that's a shirt. All jokes are comedic.
Or they mean to be, at least. They have this moment where they reveal the virgin's death is optional, which is really cool, because that's how almost every sort of slasher movie ends, is with the final girl either getting out or dying. And like, that's such a good take on this, where it's like, no, she doesn't need to die. We just needed her to be in peril, and she needed to suffer. And then Hadley starts to have this it's the moment in the movie where it's like, this character is going to make a speech, and he's like, it's crazy. I'm almost rooting for this girl. She's got such spirit, and everything that she's doing, and then he like looks over to the side, and he's still continuing, and then he's like, oh fuck yeah, like, give me my tequila, put it in my mouth. Like, he just really wants tequila, and he doesn't care anymore. His thought is crumbled by the idea that he could just get hammered really quickly, even though he's probably going to say something very insightful and humane and connect him to humanity in some capacity, as we've seen that he has a wife who's going through some sort of process to try and make her more fertile. That he is a human being that cares about stuff, but in this moment he doesn't give a shit about this lady who's being strangled to death by a chain on a dock, and he's like, just give me some tequila after this night. It's wonderful. This is when the celebration gets wild, though, because they keep celebrating, and then you get a sort of a repeat of all the moments that we've seen the entirety of the collaborative crew together, which is now they're just all drinking to celebrate. and you've got all the goofy characters being like. Also, this moment makes me feel like this movie really tries hard to make every man in this movie seem like a perverted creep, or at least all the people that work at the whatever it's called, the officiant's office, when they have the guy being like, so I heard you like the ballet, and it just so happens that I have 2 front row tickets to your favorite fuck. She like walks away, and then there's the
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I remember that scene distinctly because it's like apropos of nothing. There's just in the background a person trying to like,
it's just like
take this
showing
girl
that they're
out.
all regular people or whatever, right? They really are trying hard to be like normal people are a part of this massive, basically cult, like a super organized cult, but a cult that actually matters, because without it, we would be eliminated every single year by volcano gods or whatever. So they also have like there's one lady who's like, you think we're gonna get overtime pay for this? And then the intern comes up and he's like, I'm an intern, so I don't qualify for overtime. And they're like, what is this guy? It's all very good, but then the phone rings and they realize that something's wrong and they have to turn the music off, and it turns out that something's gone wrong. And they forgot to kill the fool. The fool is alive, and he shows up. The chain wrapped around his bong, and he beats up Grandpa Buckner, and they beat him up together, and then they run. Can you get away? And they go into the grave. They get down into a weird like cement cube that looks, the juxtaposition between where they are and where they end up is wild, right? Everything is wood, rotted, gross, rusty, and they go into this very sort of sterile, dark.
And he's also been messing with the electronics in this wall clearly for some time to figure it out.
Because the guys that were supposed to blow the cave so they couldn't get out, and he was like, well, you haven't blown it, and I think he starts to give them shit, and he's like, yo, that wasn't our fault, something was going on upstairs, and it was Buddy.
Steven,
you know the guy. What's his name? Marty.
Marty.
We've got to go back to the future, Marty.
He's like, I figured out how to do this and this and this, and like he knows how to do stuff with it, but he's like, I don't want to go down deeper. Like, obviously what happened was he chopped up the zombie in the corner, and then he's like, I got to go back up and get my friends. And then he finds only her, brings her back, and then she confirms, like, everyone's fucking dead, man. Like, we're the only ones left. And he's like, okay, so we can go down in this elevator. And her main question is like, do we want to go down? And he's like, where the fuck else are we going to go? And she's like, okay, true. Let's go into the elevator and see what happens. And this is where the movie turns into a completely different movie. And it's so fucking great. Every second beyond this moment is like the greatest movie ever made, maybe.
Yeah, it's terrific. It's so full of surprises and references. And
also, I'm not a musical artist, just the person that asked me. No, I feel like it was sarcastic though. So
these 14-year-olds are about to get banned. So,
what are they saying?
Oh, some stuff. Yeah, W ban.
It's okay.
Yeah, this part was like the payoff.
Yeah, they reactivate the elevator. They get inside of it. They seal up. They have no idea what's going to happen, and they go down into the depths. And it keeps going down and down and down, which is already spooky. Like, I don't know if you've been in like a sub basement to a sub basement to a sub basement, but going deeper underground is always kind of freaky. It's, I don't know. Would you say going up in a building is scarier than going down in a building? I don't know. I think they're both kind of.
I would say going down into the basement of a building that is underneath a grave into a cybernetic facility would be scarier than going up in a building. In this instance, there's probably a monster that exists in this universe that is part of a building, sort of going up in a building situation, like a Nakazawa Tower, Wakatami Tower.
Nakatomi?
Nakatomi Tower. Yeah.
Wakatami Tower.
Sakatumi Tower.
Wakatumi Tower.
Sakatumi Tower, which is also a villain in this film. Sigma Boy, we are talking about Cabin in the Woods. You nightmare. Jesus Christ.
It's a good movie. So this is, as we call this our Star Wars cantina moment in a movie where, when there's like, you go into an environment where there's a lot of crazy shit happening, a lot of weird things going on, the Ghostbusters, when all the ghosts come out, the Beetlejuice, where he goes into the waiting room and there's all the weird dead people and the different ways they died. Obviously Star Wars has a bunch of them, like Jabba's palace, and even like the newer Star Wars movies have a couple of them, but I would say that this is one, right? They've accomplished a Star Wars cantina in this entire last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, the shot of like before everything starts going really crazy and you see all of those cubes with all of the monsters.
I do like that they give you a couple little like spooky moments, right? Like you get the werewolf drooling on the drooling on the glass, and then you get like a ghost that's like this is where the CGI is like, this is good. This is good CGI for the era, and like a lot of the CGI in this movie doesn't really work, but in this moment where that ghost is like putting its hand up and like putting itself on the screen and stuff, I like this.
It's like an electric ghost. I mentioned it earlier. There was no
an electric ghost.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It looks like a wispy ghost made of mist. What the fuck are you talking about? Electric ghost.
It was electric to me. There was no real representation of like pirates. I think was the only trope they didn't.
You wanted a pirate to come out and be like, "Yar, give me your booty, you pervert." You're like, what?
Give me your booty, pervert.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
they go down the elevator and there's that the first security guy who tries to stop them.
Yeah, who has a blood pack built into the back of his head. Apparently, this is the softest.
Yeah, when he gets pushed up and just like the tack leaves a big smear, and the severed zombie hand as the door closes just goes and starts like going under his face.
I think
like the implication that it was going to rip its face off.
The zombie also, like the single zombie arm also is the thing that like distracted the guy enough for them to get out. And like he hated the zombie before because it tried to kill him. And then he's like, fucking zombie arm. And then as he's leaving, he goes, good work, zombie arm. Because like the zombie arm helped him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. This is all good. But I do not understand how that guard went down so easily. They just pushed him into a wall and his head exploded. He was like, ew.
I thought he punched him or pushed him.
No, he just pushed him. Imagine I pushed you so hard, Jason, that your back hit the wall and then your head exploded on the wall behind you. Imagine it.
Yeah,
it was his one weakness.
Yeah,
the back.
My head.
Because
he never developed.
Yeah, it never fully hardened on the back. Yeah,
he's got that baby skull.
Well, the soft spot is here, so.
The one day I don't wear my hard hat, the word.
All right. So they go into a giant brutalist. It looks like the entryway to almost any sort of like brutalist architecture that you've been into in like a downtown city or whatever. Like this is a banking building or whatever with like a elevator stockyard. With reflective concrete floor that's been polished to shit.
Almost like that scene in The Matrix with the pillars.
Yeah.
That's what it sort of looks like.
That's a good call, yeah. But I mean, before we get the craziest part, we get a voice that calls them over the radio being like, you don't understand what's going on. And you realize, oh, okay. this is the voice that they've been hearing on the phone. It must be, because it's Sigourney Weaver's voice. I know that like most people maybe won't recognize her voice immediately, but like if you've watched Alien 100,000 times, like this pervert has over here, then yeah, you're like, oh my god, it's Sigourney. Sigourney's here, the queen of horror herself. Ripley's here, and she basically is just telling them to give up. Like, we are going to get you. Just relax. Like, let me just kill one, and we'll talk afterwards. And they say no, or they don't say anything. They just decide to run, and then a bunch of SWAT men show up and pin them into an elevator control booth, I guess. Which I guess this is what it is. Because why? And also, why the fuck do they have this ability?
The purge function.
Yeah, like why do they have a purge function, and why do all the elevators lead to this one area? I guess they maybe have to like feed them and stuff, right? Like I guess some of them need food to live. Is that maybe what it is?
I think so. Yeah,
they gotta.
Probably.
They have to like put a bunch of salt in a bowl for like a weird bug creature to be like, like suck it up or whatever. Like it needs.
Now go back in the elevator. Go back. You had your supper.
Yeah. Also, this is one of those moments where like all of those creatures that they made and stuff, this is where the movie turns it out. It just like throws it at you. There's moments that are only 2 seconds long, and they spent half a year making a puppet. Like there's an alien that jumps on one of them, and I'm like, that looked really good. When I watched it, I was like, that looked really fucking good. And then I realized that the reason it looks good is because it's an actual puppet that they had puppeteers like launching onto a guy, and it's actually just like 3 seconds long of a puppet, and you never see that puppet again at all, like ever. And it's like they spent 6 months developing, carving, and casting this thing to make look really fucking good, and they used it for 2 seconds. But I guess that's what this movie is, right? Like a bunch of, it is like the Ghostbusters containment unit opened up, and we get to see everything pile out and just murder. It's really, really good. This is like good child. Like if you're a child who loves monsters, this is like the craziest toy box being opened. And if you're an adult that likes horror movies, anyway,
you get this nice shot where the after the carnage is ensued, then you see some more of the security team coming down, and there's just that quiet moment where the room is covered in blood, and there's a couple of zombies eating who just turn and to see them.
Yeah,
I think an arm just falls from the ceiling in the silence too.
Out. And like all the other monsters that got out, or they've already ran off into the facility, and then the cap of that is all the elevators bing again, like they're about to open again. You're like, oh god,
there's another one. There's another one.
Yeah.
There's one monster here that I only know it's a Reaver from Firefly, just another Joss Whedon joint, because I watched something where they're talking about all of the references. But yeah, I didn't know that there was, because it's so fast, but it's a Reaver from Firefly just throwing a guy over a balcony or throwing a guy off a staircase.
I feel like this whole moment is a thing that we could just sit here and talk about. Like, what's your favorite one? I mean, maybe that's how we stop this, right? Because we could just talk about this moment forever. Why don't you just say what your favorite thing that came out of the elevator is, and then we'll move on to the next scene.
I liked
a ton of.
I liked the snake a lot. Right. I liked the robot murder machine a lot.
It's like a scorpion.
Yeah.
With, all right, fine. We'll do top three then. Top three things you saw, because there's so many.
Also, fucking clown was great.
You like the clown? I thought you would like
the clown. Yeah.
All right, Graham, what's your favorite three?
It's the bad surgeons.
Okay, oh yeah, the surgeon.
The guy's eyes are shut, and he's like,
yeah, and he's like, yeah. Because my brain,
yeah, go on.
My brain just went to like, I don't want to watch a horror movie where like extra surgery is a trope in the movie.
But I like it in the background. Yeah,
yeah, for like a second.
It's the scorpion robot with the buzzsaw on its tail. I think that's what's going on. And then just because I'm looking at it, it's cool because you can see all the screens where all the different kills are happening. And there's one that's just a guy suffocating somebody with a plastic bag.
But he also has plastic bags.
But he has a
He
plastic
also
bag
has a
on
plastic
his
bag
head.
on his head.
He's the bag.
Because that's his like super villain thing.
Bit by a radioactive bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my favorites are I like the Hellraiser guy like a lot.
Yeah,
But
me too.
I also like that he's showcased quite a bit. You know, he gets his own moment where she realizes what's going on because of him, and then he comes out of he gets an elevator reveal where he walks out of the elevator, and then there's also a screen where it's him and another Cenobite comes in, and you're like, he summons other, like, it's not a thing. Like, he can open the cube and a bunch of other Cenobites come in.
Like when you actually see him doing a Cenobite thing on one of the screens, or it cuts to them. Yeah.
It's like a guy hanging upside down and they're in like a stairwell and he's holding the cube and there's like another Cenobite coming in that's like something like sharpening knives or some shit.
Well, it's a sphere and it's the disdain arrangement.
Right, the disdain arrangement. And he's like, and the guy's like, we have an arrangement with you. Ding, ding, ding. And then that's the first one I said, right?
Yep.
Okay. I love the scarecrows so fucking much. When the door finally bursts open and they're like, I'm like, are those scarecrows? And they start stabbing him, and then when it blows up and there's just hay everywhere, like little shoots of hay go flying all over the place. I'm like, that's so good, because that's like a classic spooky thing, right? Like a scarecrow is scary. It's used in so many things, and just to have scarecrows running around stabbing people is very good. And then my last one is the unicorn. The unicorn is so good because a unicorn is always presented as this mystical thing of like beauty, peace, and sovereignty or regality, or, you know, like it's meant to be important. And this thing is just like ring, like stabbing a guy to death with its horn. I'm like, this fucking rules. This rules.
Low key, one of my favorites is like happens after all of this is when Hadley's lying there and a mangled mermaid is coming towards him, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" and gets killed by a mermaid because he's been loving merman the whole time.
Man,
that was one of my. I would say that's one of my three, but that's not during this carnage situation. It's also crazy that
it was just monsters in general. It doesn't have to be during the actual sequence.
I do love when they sneak off into that side room and then they hit the button and then the chaos happens. That like vampire bat flies through, but right before that they're just looking at a screen that's already covered in blood, but there's just viscera and gore and just the most disgusting things just like hitting that screen. Window.
That's,
I guess
like the second time it comes out, because it's like peaceful for a moment and then it's like
ding.
It's very good. Again, this is like one of the greatest moments in all movies. Like, you know, you can say like, what's your favorite moment in the movie? And it'll be like, I don't know, the end of Casablanca or whatever. Like, hey, look at me, kid. Or
Here's looking at you, child.
Yeah. But in this, it's like, I like the part where the clown is like getting shot. Like, it's pretty great.
She keeps shooting. He's not going down.
Yeah. I wrote Sigourn on the horn. That's funny.
That's made me laugh. Yeah.
System Purge, amazing sound design. We've already talked about the sound design. I don't need to beat this horse that's already been killed. Main security man is killed by scarecrows. That's where this kind of leads to, right? Is like they realize this is terrible. All of the monsters are loose. What do we do? And it's now cutting between a bunch of stuff. We see Marty and Dana running through the facility, but they're just kind of running in circles for a little while. But I guess it's just to keep us confused as audience members, because we're like, where are they going? Where are they going?
They don't know where they're going.
They don't know where they're going. And then we're also getting these guys in the control room, and they're trying to get into some deeper layer of control or whatever. And as they're hacking, I guess, the scarecrows come in and blow shit up and kill the guy that we thought that Jason was like, this guy's going to be probably important by the end. He's like, no, he gets blown up by scarecrows.
No, yeah.
Or he blows himself up to kill the scarecrows. I don't really know what it was.
He had a grenade on him or some.
I know that, but I don't know.
Thing.
I don't know if he pulled that or if the scarecrows pulled it. That's what I was.
No, he did because I think he has like a line, but he's like, "Whippy yay, motherfucker," and then hits the button.
What's a good scarecrow line? I guess
yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay is good. That sounds like a cowboy thing to say.
Yeah. Yippee doo dah, scarecrow motherfucker.
Probably it's some kind of crow pun.
Yeah.
Caw, caw.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hello, Beta Goat 10. I sure hope that you aren't the same as Sigma Boy and the other one. Just trolling.
It's okay to get trolled, Jason. That means we're on.
No, it's funny because the half of the things they said I didn't even play for the chat.
That's how you know you've made it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So main security is killed by scarecrows. Merman shows up. Also, the making of the merman blood spout is so fucking funny. Like, if you can find just them filming that sequence, I think they only took the end where it starts to sputter out, like where it runs out of goo, because it's like and it looks more like a spray from a whale or whatever. I think that's the only part they took, because for like at least 3 minutes it's just like like this, it almost looks like you're squirting a ketchup bottle like too hard or whatever. Like it doesn't look great. And then by the end it's just when it's running out of goo, that's when it works. But it is like sort of a beautiful wrap up. You know, he mentions the merman so many times throughout, and him being killed by a merman is beautiful. But it also, he even realizes the irony of the entire thing, being like, I guess I do get to see the merman finally. Shit. What does he say? Oh, come on. I don't know.
Yeah. Come on.
I think the line is it's not great, but like, you know, how do you make that a universal line that lasts forever? I don't think you can.
It's kind of perfect for that actor, though. Like,
sure, yeah. They escape into the hole. Oh wait, no, they don't both escape. She gets pulled through a ceiling by a tentacle, I think, doesn't she? Like a tentacle comes down and grabs her, and and then he has to go down the hole by himself, and then he gets stabbed. Yes, he gets stabbed by Dana, and he's like, oh fuck, and he tries to warn her. I feel like everybody else in this movie has been stabbed by that same weapon so many fucking times and not died immediately, that him dying so quickly is like, come on. Like, he can give exposition, but you know, this is how the movie works, I guess. She should have stabbed him in the heart, maybe, or the brain, to make him like, kill, like a Frankenstein movie, like, kill here. This would be so scary to me as a person. Running through this facility where I know that everybody in there has designed this thing for me to die, and then all of a sudden I realize I fucked up their plans, and some guy who looks pretty official like stops me after I stabbed him, and then he tells me to kill the person next to me, like, kill him, make sure you kill him. Like, that would be so fucked. And then he dies, you'll be like, oh my god, what do you mean? And then you keep running. What would you think? I mean, we don't need to turn it into a philosophical debate, but I mean, that would be sitting in my brain the whole time. We're like, what did he mean?
True, man.
I would be scared, especially if it's my friend. If I'm with one of my friends and the person's like, you don't understand, the whole reason we're here is to kill that guy, and you need to kill him. I'd be like, what, can I kill him? I don't think I can. And they enter the ritual chamber, and it's very cool. It's like a weird stone disc that they stand on, and there's all these carvings around them. They're their own sort of like, they almost look like sandstone carvings with the blood coming through them, and they realize that only one of them doesn't have the blood draining through it. And she puts it all together real quick, which is fine. At this point in the movie, you cannot have her being like, wait, like, and she's already been, yeah, exactly. Like, and it's fine. But also, I think we've already put it together at this point, so it seems like wasted breath a little bit. But I think they're just trying to ramp it up for when Sigourney Weaver reveals herself with her big long ass gloves that go up to her fucking armpits.
Common Sigourney Weaver W, I would say.
She's earned the right to wear whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like that it is such a like reveal that she's in this. I was also thinking that like while this movie isn't a literal Ghostbusters movie, it does feel a little bit like the energy of a Ghostbusters movie.
Mm-hmm.
And even before she popped up, I forgot that she was in this, but I'm watching this going like, this is a comedy horror in the same way that the like Ghostbusters movies are, where you have these like normal people reacting to, especially in this final like chunk of the movie, the third act, you just have these people like reacting to these literal monsters and they're freaking out because it's like, imagine if you witnessed all of this happen to you. And then
I think
Sigourney
you're right,
Weaver,
man. I think that this is like a perfect example of how the Ghostbusters formula can still work in a way, even though it's not the Ghostbusters. This is sort of the same energy as a Ghostbusters because the comedy works, but it's not where you expect it to be, right? Like Marty,
it would have been really funny too if like one of the cubes that they show is like four guys in like jumpsuits.
Bing,
but
bing,
to subvert it though, you'd have to just have them just like destroyed by ghosts or something. I think that would have been funny.
Well, I mean, to support what you're saying, I think that like the comedy doesn't I mean, the comedy exists within the teens, right? Like the normal people, but like the real comedy is the people that know what they're doing, which is what Ghostbusters sort of is, right? Like they're dealing with the ghosts, and like that's what this is a bunch of middle-aged to oldering, like retirement age people dealing with this thing that they have to do every year. It's a mundane job to them, right? Like it is Ghostbusters energy. Absolutely.
So like the Institute people are like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
They're like a reverse Ghostbuster.
Exactly.
They're ghost harbingers.
Sure.
I'm
afraid of no sleep. I'm afraid of no bed. Yeah, so this is where she explains everything, but you know, like again, holes everywhere, but you know, you don't care at this point. You're just like, the movie's over. I don't really understand how it works fully, but I do like it. So like, I don't question it that harshly, I guess. You know, like why would I? Because I'm having a good time. So
kind of a Gremlins thing.
Yeah, if you really want to pick it apart, then where they're like, it's different in every culture, but it always needs this, and this. I'm like,
unless it doesn't.
Yeah.
Due to the culture.
What do you mean? Do you mean our culture only needs this? Because you just said it needs like a virgin, an athlete, a whore, and like, but over
I think which of those little Japanese girls that banished the ghost was the whore.
Yeah. All of them. Yeah. Like, what?
I think that even Sigourney Weaver's like energy in the whole thing is like, do not ask too many questions. This is how it is. The whore, the scholar, the athlete, the fool, and the virgin. Don't worry about it.
She did, like, she showed up though. Like, it didn't feel like a phone-in performance.
Right. Yeah.
You know, she seemed like a little confused, but like, she's like, I don't know what I'm saying, but like, it didn't seem like she didn't care, you know? She was sucker punching the fucking Marty. Yeah. She's like, I get to punch a fucking youth in the face? Good.
Yeah. Fuck this nerd.
I also get to chastise people for being young. That was the other funny part, is that she's like, the reason that you're here is because you're young. Like that's the other main thing, right? Is you have to be young. Like the gods don't want to see an old person get sacrificed, because it's like, you're not sacrificing anything at that point. You're just giving me the pennies that exist at the end of your life. I want somebody who's giving up the entirety of their existence. Like they don't even know who they are yet, kind of thing, which is fucking cool, man.
I think this would be a good crossover opportunity. I just got this idea for her disdain for the youth. Battle Royale, the Japanese kids on an island movie. They put one class on an island because I guess in that alternate future that teenagers are very disrespectful. So in order to scare them into being good citizens in the future, they sacrifice one class. But if you took a class of kids and then subjected them to this monster horror, that would be pretty sweet. Just skip all the pretense of like of the cabin in the woods and just jump right to
20 minutes
some
of the
elevator
movie
doors.
is
Like, hey, we're going on a class trip, and then they open the elevator doors and see which kids can survive.
20 minutes of the movie is Hunger Games opening or Battle Royale opening, chosen with a lottery, and then the fucking elevator doors open, and then the Ghostbusters are also there, I think.
Yeah,
except they're shooting ghosts instead of
with guns.
Ghosts collecting beams. The ghosts are coming out of the guns is what I'm saying. They're not shooting ghosts. The ghosts come out of the guns. Like Slimer comes out of the gun.
It's not a proton pack. It's a gun it's like a squirt gun where you shoot ghosts out of it.
It's not a bullet heaven. It's not a bullet hell. It's a bullet heaven.
It's not a hollow point. It's a haunted point.
Hey, I like that.
Or it's still a hollow point, but it's like when it comes out and blows your head into a pumpkin or whatever. Okay, so they have a standoff. Werewolf comes in. I mean, we don't really need to talk about this too much. Dana decides that she's gonna kill Marty. Marty's like, "What the heck, man? We're friends." And she's like, "Well, it's the whole world." And this is the debate that I wanted to talk to you about earlier, which I'm like, I feel like now in my life, if somebody was like, "I have to kill you to save the whole world," I'd be like, "Okay, that seems like a fair trade." Like I wouldn't really argue with it. If I knew 100% that demon gods would come up and destroy everything, that I would probably do it. But as like a 20-year-old, no, I would be like, "What the fuck? No, there's got to be another way." And I'd be like, "No, it has to be you." I'd be like, "No,
I think faced with your mortality on any level, I think this plays out exactly like how it would play out.
I feel like
gun to this person's head
that are better than me, that me sacrificing myself, it will help the world to stay alive. But I also feel like, when I was 20, I was dumb and thought that I was so fucking sick that I was one of the people that needed to survive. I'm like, no, I don't think so. There's people that are way better than me.
I kind of don't care about what happens after I die, but I don't want to die, I think is the thing. Like, so I kind of want to see what happens.
I'm not scared of death. I'm scared of pain. So like, as long as it's not painful, then I'm good to just die. Because it's like going to sleep forever.
Yeah.
My favorite time is when I'm unconscious. I love that.
It's a good time.
Love it. It's the best part.
It's a good time. My favorite time actually isn't the sleep part. It's that warm feeling you get as you're about to go to sleep. When you're like, oh.
I hate that because it means a nightmare is coming real quick. And then I wake up 25 minutes later screaming. And then I'm like, God damn it.
That's mental illness, though.
I mean, I never said I didn't have 20 of them. Fair. So anyway, the werewolf saves the day. And so
MVP.
Yeah. He kicks her off the edge with the... Oh, wait, no. The werewolf saves the day. And then little Buckner shows up and saves the day a second time. And then he kicks little Buckner and takes Sigourney Weaver off the edge. Just watch the movie. I know my description isn't perfect, but it's like a 5-way battle that ends with the two of them back alone, and they're both bleeding to death. They're both dying, by the way. Like one's shot, one's bitten by a werewolf. They're not going to survive, so they don't give a shit anymore. Excuse me.
But he had a perfectly rolled joint in his pocket for later.
Of course.
He didn't get smushed or crushed or anything. It's crazy.
Pops it in his mouth like he's a Diane war vet, which I thought was a great little moment.
I thought you said Diane war vet. I was like, who the fuck
is what I heard? What did he say?
Like he's a dying war veteran.
Oh, yeah. Diane Warwick.
By the way, all the proceeds of this episode are going to Diane Warvet's charity for kids without feet or whatever.
Kids Without Borders.
Kids Without Borders. Oh my god. Jason.
They're allowed to go wherever they want.
Yeah.
And the movie ends with them saying, well, that's crazy. I wish we could see the gods, but you're right. This is terrible. Earth needs a restart. And then a giant hand takes them to hell or whatever.
To find the disdain arrangement.
I don't think you should write down Kids Without Borders. That sounds like a Epstein thing.
It's a real trafficking situation. you can send them wherever you want.
You guys are the ones saying that. I was thinking doctors, but
Kids in the mail. Kids in the mail.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's our show.
It's just like the old Garfield cartoon where where he's always sending Nermal to Abu Dhabi. Help me out here, Garfield.
Yeah, you know how normal.
I mean, Cats Without Borders is funnier than Kids Without Borders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
We've reached the end of the flick. Do you guys want to have any last things? I mean, my last note was sequel pitch, and I wanted to see if you guys had any, but we kind of already talked about this earlier.
We did. My sequel pitch is literally like more in the remake territory of it all. Like I want to see this movie. So somebody on TikTok was like, bring back Being John Malkovich, and I said Being John Malkovich, but it's the same movie, just Nick Cage. I think would be great. So this movie, just again, full remake.
I feel like whoever said that fundamentally disunderstands what Being John Malkovich is about.
Well, you just said the word disunderstand, so who knows? I
mean, if
there's puppets in that too.
Sounds like you disunderstand what I'm saying.
Puppets.
No, I know. I fundamentally agree with you in that it's not about the persons whose head you're going into, just the way that it's not about what it has to be the off-brand monsters for it to make more sense. I just like the idea of a version of this movie that has licensed monsters, just to see.
I would hate to watch this movie where Jason Voorhees shows up and everybody in the theater stands up and cheers because Jason Voorhees is there. Because I don't think that's fun. I think that's detrimental to what the movie's doing.
You're right. You're right.
I think
that's a sequel to this is post-apocalyptic, and the Institute somehow still exists. And
just remember, a prequel is also a sequel, right? Like for me,
that's the I do like that the most.
But you know how that's going to end, because up to this point they were always successful.
Yeah, but Virgin is always optional, right? So we may never get a crazy vault breach like we got at the end of this movie, but we know that there was some mishap in 98. We could do a 98 version where 98.
But I think that was the Buffy the Vampire season where they institute.
Well, I mean, no, that's what you think, but that's not what. That's just a fan theory, Jason. You know what? Fine, that's what it is. And guess what? We'll get Sarah Michelle Gellar to be in it, and she fucking shows up to be like, the beginning of the show, you're like, this is a fan theory, and then you're like, but that's what happened, though. That's exactly what happened.
No, I just wanted to do the boner. I'm done talking about this subject. You guys go ahead.
Is there a Home Alone of it all coming up?
We're about to.
We're 20 minutes away from 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's get the fuck out.
If you had to pick one,
what do you think the Home Alone of it
is the Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone?
I really gotta know.
When is the Home Alone of it all?
What is the Home Alone of it all? Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
So the Home Alone of it all, everyone, is when we all take a specific moment in this movie and tell us what it is that makes the movie for us. It could be a moment that you realize the movie awakened itself in your mind, and that's what you're there to see. It could be a moment from a trailer that you really liked. It could be just what are you pointing at?
Both of you guys.
Oh, I think I explained it. Graham, give us your Home Alone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go first because it's the obvious, and I don't want anybody to take my answer before I take it. It's the elevators. It's the if it's not that, it's the cubes, but it's really the elevators. It's the you get sights of all these different monsters leading up to this point, but that's the moment it really just explodes and becomes something unlike you've ever seen before. And that's the part of the movie that I remembered years later without any prompt.
Can you give us a review and a rating, please?
This is, like I talked about earlier, it was I was pretty burned out from horror movies and what they had become in the vein of Saw and Hostel and just torture porn. I don't know if Human Centipede came out before or after this.
It's right around this time, I believe.
Yeah. But this is the movie I didn't see coming, and great premise. And we could talk about holes in this or that, but it's everything it does overshadows any holes or kind of CG that doesn't hold up. It's a masterpiece, and it's kind of the horror movie I hold all horror movies up to. It's got to be I don't have a clever 12 out of 10 scarecrows.
Okay.
Jason, tell us.
The Home Alone of it all is basically it's a classic third act. Basically when they go into the grave and show up on the other side, and it's like it's a Westworld thing basically, which I thought was interesting. My final thoughts in this movie are that it is basically a perfect like satire of horror as a genre, but it also has so many little fun things. You just have to watch the movie for yourself. And if you're not a fan of horror, this is the kind of movie where like you can get over the gore or whatever because of how good the movie is. And I think that it's absolutely worth watching no matter what your favorite kind of movie is, because even though it is a satire and a parody of horror, it's also a meta parody and satire of horror, but it's also just like a good fun movie, and it's also kind of just like a parody and satire of movies in general, even beyond the horror element of it all. With that said, I do give it a 5 out of 5. It is a hard 5 for me. It doesn't have any, there's no missed opportunities, and they utilized every scene to its maximum potential. I think that what Steven was mentioning in the production talk about how, they were just going to try to be practical the whole time, but then they had to like fill it out with some CGI that worked in its favor. So that said, it's 10 movie monsters in a space that only has enough room for 4 movie monsters.
That's a small space for 10 movie ones. I think that this movie is it's a movie that it's really hard to describe to people, especially people who don't understand what it's like to watch series after series after series and franchise after franchise after franchise be sort of like wrung out like a rag that only has a couple of drops of blood left in it. How do you revisit that franchise? How do you revisit that idea? How do you make a slasher movie like that again? You can't do it. And what they did with this movie is amazing. It's so interesting. It's so clever. It's so funny and good. They took something that we all thought was done, and they somehow made a shitty 80s slasher film, but they didn't just decide to be like, let's try and create the new Jason. They're like, who gives a shit about the new Jason? Let's fill a vault full of Jasons and see what we can do here. And like, that is such a smart way to deal with it. It's so surprising to me that this movie hasn't been grasped onto by every like streaming service. Like, how do we do this again? Because it's like, it seems to me like a thing that is just like rife for opportunities. Like, there's so much they could do with this franchise, and it's not a franchise, it's a singular movie. Nobody seems to give a shit about it. There's no books, there's no comics, there's nothing. I've looked, I'm like, there must be something else. There's nothing. There is nothing. They don't have anything about this organization that worships these gods. Like, why the fuck doesn't exist? You can only find YouTube videos of people speculating. It's wild to me. The movie is good as a horror movie, but the movie is also good as this sort of breakdown of what horror movies are. And it doesn't make fun of it. It doesn't shake its fist at it and say like, you didn't do this right. And it's not trying to make you feel like it could do anything better. It's taking everything that we like about those horror movies and those franchises that we've micro analyzed even on this series to death and been like, look at all this shit, and they shake it up in like a jar of sand and they're like, we can do exactly that, and we're going to add all this other syrup in there that makes it so much sweeter and better and more digestible. I fucking love the organization. I love the idea of like them like spurring them on to their deaths at the appeasement of the god. Us, yeah, obviously we're the gods, but obviously in the world the gods are like this thing that we must fear, but we're the gods, guys. We are the gods. It's a really good movie. My Home Alone of it all, you guys obviously both went for the elevator, which is like a really, really good choice, and that was going to be my second choice because I assumed someone was going to take my first choice, which no one did. It's when they go into the cellar and they're looking at all the things. They're looking at every.
That's a good one.
And you're like, what is this? And you start to realize that these items all have power because everybody is putting them on and they all seem obsessed. And you're like, something's going on here. And you already know that something else is happening here. So when you see that, that's when the movie awakens for me. And it also stopped all those issues that I had at the beginning of the movie that I told you about go away because I'm not worried about that anymore. Now I'm just like, I want to see what's going to happen. So that's where the movie opens as a flower, a beautiful flower, a flower that you want to take a sniff out of over and over again. It's so good. It's not perfect. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like in the beginning, maybe like fourth of this movie, but like there's so much stuff after that cellar scene that I just love. And there's little holes that you can poke in it if you want to. But if you're looking to poke holes, you're going to find holes. But if you're just looking for a really interesting, fun, and cool way to tell a horror story, this is it, man. This is so good. It's such a good movie, and I will stand up for it to the day I die. And I'm going to give this movie an infinite cube of mathematical precision where monsters will continuously come up from the depths to haunt you and hunt you and kill you.
That's a good rating.
Thanks.
That's a good rating, yeah.
Thanks, guys. So we're at the end of the show, and usually we would get the frick out of here, but I forgot that we have to do the plugs. So
just quick plugs.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and.
That guy's dead, right? Like, is that another one of the?
No, that was the electric ghost you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Graham, do you have anything that you want to pitch for us or plug?
My only plug is my plugs are for use guys as plugs.
Oh, all right. Well then,
go plug away or plug each other for all I care.
Plug each other. Go plug yourself. All right. Very good, thank you. Jason, you want me to go first, or you'd like to go?
Yeah, you go first because I want to. I think Graham might have 5 times at this point. I'm just going to take a quick gander at our page. You go ahead.
Okay. So it's me, Steve. I love plugging everything. But I'm gonna plug the show Randy that's on Apple Podcasts, on our network, and everywhere you find your podcasts right now. I did a lot of cleanup work on that. I'm also in it. It's good. Stanland as well. You can find me there doing kooky, crazy cartoon voices. I also am on Darth Theorist, the Three-Eyed Theorist, and the Half-Blood Theorist, where I do the narration. What if this happened? What if that happened? And all the character voices as well. Please come check that out. We're doing so beautifully well. We're almost at 80,000 subscribers. Last I checked, we were like 100 away from 80 subs on Star Wars, and Game of Thrones is right behind it, catching up. We're getting there, folks. Collectively, I think we have like 100 million views. It's wild. So go check those out. And I do have another thing coming up soon, but not today, not tomorrow, but maybe the next day. Jason?
Okay. Here's what I have for Graham.
4.
Dick Tracy, Wrath of Khan, Cabin in the Woods. And you've been on with Jenny for
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Are those
Nope, that was Warriors.
the Warriors?
Yeah.
Are those the 4?
That's the 4, yeah.
Okay. So next time.
Although
next
I
time
could
you're
have
on-
done Robin Hood, and if I wasn't Robin Hood, it would have chastised the both of you, because I think you both watched the extended version for like the first time.
We did.
Which,
I think that's
which
where
when
I'm
when I listened to that episode with Jenny, she seemed confused too, because there were all these like scenes that we didn't know about that are rapey.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rape.
Yeah. You're right.
Like they took all that out, and now like maybe the director was like, "Yeah, you put that stuff back in."
We like that. Also,
Next
when
time
you
you're-
said I could have done Robin Hood, that sounds like you bragging about it.
I could have. I could
could've
have.
done
Yeah.
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 Our second guest for anyway. I would like to promote Graham's episodes first and foremost. I'd like to promote this show. It happens each and every week right here on Instagram. Nope. The one place that doesn't happen.
MySpace.
my MySpace, Friendster, and Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitch. Those are all the places it happens. You can find us each and every week at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here where you're watching it live. In addition to that, we put our video on demand up on Sunday after the episode is aired, and then in perpetuity for all of time. We're at episode 232, so there's 232 episodes you can watch. You can find me. I'm the announcer for Super Kick Wrestling here in Toronto. We have a show coming up on June 19th, which is next Friday. Come down, see me announce the names louder than everybody else, or say the names louder than everybody else. I say names real loud. Here's a picture of our boy Sean Connery. Also, carpal tunnel syndrome is an image that Stephen Waters illustrated.
I drew it.
He also illustrated this image of the Howie Mandel effect. And also
Yep.
get the Grimoire of Familiar Killers original painting. Also, there's the Eldritch Millennial, Kill Aid, and Twinkerbell classics.
There's my twink.
That's my twink. And also Chef's Fingers, something that we say often. Those are things that we love on this channel, and we love all of you for watching us. And just because we want to get out of here immediately, there's one question that needs to be asked each and every week. And because it's up to the guest to ask it, I'll ask the guest, Graeme Pass himself, to ask it right now.
Hey, did you see this one?
I might watch
Hey.
this movie again right now. I fucking love this movie.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie.
One of the best.
One of the best to ever do it. Graham, do you have any funny anecdotes that are very quick?
He's muted.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have any funny anecdotes that are very quick?
No, but I do have the anecdote to the poison you just drank.
What?
Oh,
But I love.
that was funny.
No, but I love poison.
Oh
He left.
man, that's poison right there. This is poison to the end of the.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise. Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates.
I actually, I'm going to interrupt this exit because I have something that I need y'all to watch. Our friend of the show, Jamil, wanted to tell us all how much he dislikes this film, and I had actually meant to play this during the final thoughts period, but I closed all my windows.
Jamil?
So-
Why does Jamil hate this movie?
Well, we're gonna find out right now because I didn't screen this, so we're gonna find out.
Man,
I have to do a quick whole
yeah,
thing where
he rips at a new one.
I think he's going to. It's a minute long.
Whoa.
It's a minute long. We're gonna go back to the previously scheduled thing here in a second. Here, let's. Is this? No, it's this. And it doesn't matter because Graham was the one that had to go to bed. Now you're gonna fucking see.
Now you're gonna fucking see.
Oh, why is there no sound? Oh, sorry. Hold up.
This movie holds a sour place in my heart. Back in 2011, a friend of mine got tickets to see the early screening of the film. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend. Fast forward 3 years, I happened to get on a quiz show called Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz was a fast-paced Canadian pop culture game show that originally aired on the
Jamil.
hosted by Devin Stolenbach.
I was also on the show.
So I get on the show and get to the very last question, which is worth $5,000. Went something like this. Which of the following 3 movies have zombies in them? World War Z, 28 Days, Cabin in the Wood, and Dawn of the Dead. I think it's an easy answer. By process of elimination, it has to be World War Z and Dawn of the Dead. 28 Days doesn't call enemies zombies, but it's basically zombies. I assumed my lack of knowledge about Cabin in the Woods wouldn't impact the win, and I made my selection. I was wrong. 28 Days Later is the zombie film, and 28 Days is the Sandra Bullock rehab movie. It was a trick question, and the pain stings me to this day. Anyways, congrats on another slam dunk of a pod, Steve, Daddy Jason, and Graham. Hey, did you see this one? No, I didn't, and I paid the price.
That's, the thing is, though, if he had seen it, there are several mentions of zombies in this movie. There's even a joke being like, I had zombies. Like, yes, but this is zombie redneck. What is it? Zombie redneck torture family.
Torture family. Yeah.
So, Jamil, if you had seen it, you would know that.
Yeah.
But I understand the process of elimination style brain chemistry that was going on there. So I'm sorry you didn't win the 5,000, but
Yeah. But thank you for that. That was incredible. He made that for this, obviously.
and also a very good breakdown of the reason. I was on the edge of my seat there being like, what's the reason though?
Well, that's the show. Thank you. I love you.
All right,
And
Jamil, we have to have Jamil on now soon for a non-zombie movie.
we have 1,000 movies selected
Or
coming
maybe
up,
for
so
a zombie movie, it might help him in the future.
it's true. Well, check this out.
Oh no!
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise. Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates.
And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.